headboard. I feel like the headboard is often missing, but like the frame, it's not on the back, out on the floor.
Ooh, Lauren, this is the life we're living. All right, thank you guys for joining us for the news at noon. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are so glad you're here. We have a lot to tell you about this afternoon, and just note that this is a news conversation. We are live streaming on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all of the different channels, including YouTube. You can also join us on our Fox Local app. But let's go to breaking news right now. A deadly shooting in South Fulton. You're taking a look at live pictures from our ground crew that is on scene. Photojournalist Matt Stringer is there right now. You can see a bunch of police vehicles there, South Fulton police vehicles. We can confirm, according to our reporter on the scene, Angelique Proctor, she says a woman is dead, according to South Fulton police. Apparently was killed behind a popular shopping plaza. You're now also looking at live video from Skyfox 5, which is also flying over the scene as we speak. This is in the 3700 block of Cascade Road. People who work in the area, according to Angelique, said they did not hear the shots, but the public information officer for the South Fulton Police Department says the shooting happened at around 10:30 in the morning. You can see they've already put up crime scene tape up around that entire area as they try to figure out exactly what happened. Multiple officers are there along with detectives at this point. Their big goal right now to obviously figure out what exactly sparked the shooting. All of that is unknown at this point, but we are working to gather those details. We have another crew heading to the scene right now, and we're going to bring you the very latest throughout the afternoon right here on Fox 5 News Live at 2 and 3 o'clock, and of course through our regular newscasts at 4, 5, and 6. Well, let's talk about another story that we're following as well. This one out of Virginia. The former lieutenant governor of that state is dead after police say he shot and killed his wife in a murder-suicide situation. Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says Justin Fairfax shot his wife multiple times inside their home in Annandale. Fairfax County Police then went to another part of the house where he was where he shot himself and then killed himself. When officers arrived just after midnight, they found both adults dead inside. Details on what led to the shooting are still being investigated at this hour, but the chief says the couple was in the process of a divorce. Chief Davis says the couple's children were in the home at the time of the shooting, but were not hurt. Let's take a listen to what the police chief had to say overnight.
So far, what we know is probably what you all know, and I don't think it's a secret that there's been divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. From what I understand in this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding that apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through. But we know that it all kind of culminated last night when Justin Fairfax shot several times and killed his wife, ran to a different part of the home, and then killed himself with the same firearm.
So that was, again, the Fairfax County Police Chief, and police said the couple had continued living together while separated, and that there had been cameras installed inside the home. In January 2026, Fairfax police were called and alleged his wife assaulted him, but officers reviewed the home's cameras and determined the assault did not occur. A report was filed, but no arrests were made. Obviously, this is an active case that continues to be investigated, and obviously a tragic story out of Virginia. Another story we're following has to do with a local story out of Monroe County, and it has to do with a school bus driver who is now facing DUI charges after deputies say he was driving erratically. It happened yesterday morning near Shy Road and Maynard's Mill Road. Deputies say the bus was swerving into other lanes before police stopped him. No students were on board. The school system has launched an investigation, obviously, to figure out what exactly happened here. Very scary. Thankfully, no students were on board. and that is one of the stories that we continue to follow. As we come back into our newsroom here, we are following a bunch of different stories, and I want to check in with Fox 5 assignment manager Tanya Mendoza. She is standing by with the very latest on what we're working on today. Hey, Tanya.
Hi, Tyler. Yes, our reporters are out on several stories. I want to start with Doug Evans. He's over in Spalding County today. Basically, the Spalding County Sheriff's Office has made a big announcement about a massive joint investigation involving the Spalding County Sheriff's Office and the GBI. And Fayette County. They concluded with arrest of approximately 20 individuals. Authorities there identified Brandon Twin Williams and Gregory Chuck Dodson as the heads of a drug organization based in Clayton and DeKalb counties. The duo allegedly used their location to distance themselves from local counties they were supplying. However, the sheriff in Spalding County, Daryl Dix, warned, he said, "We have some pretty long arms." So they have sent out a press release, and you're seeing the pictures and the mugshots right there. That's what Doug Evans is working on. He's going to get sound with the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. Agents did execute over 30 search warrants, seizing over 20 pounds of methamphetamine, quantities of fentanyl, cocaine, marijuana, multiple firearms, and prescription pills. And they also believe, investigators believe, this organization is linked to several fentanyl overdose deaths in Spalding County. So that's a big deal. That's what Doug Evans is working on today.
Got from that news release, one right there, what looks like 101 grams. Or what, 1,000, and it looks like over 1,000 grams. That's a lot of drugs.
That's right.
And so obviously they're going to be facing charges, and so Doug is following up on that. Another story we have to go out of South Fulton, correct?
Yeah, another story out of South Fulton. So actually, you were just talking about that shooting in South Fulton. Angelique Proctor was already in South Fulton interviewing the police department about another story before she was moved to that. But basically, this was involving an officer who was called out to a local store, I believe it was a Walmart in South Fulton, regarding a child screaming, while others they posted this on their Facebook page. By the way, if anybody goes to the South Fulton Police Department's Facebook page, they can read all about this and see the video. But while others saw a problem, the officer utilized his autism training to recognize the child was nonverbal and helped out. He, instead of taking action, the officer simply stayed with the child and watched over the child so the mom could finish checking out of the store in peace. He also walked her to the car and helped the family out. So, it's Autism Awareness Month or Autism Acceptance Month. This highlights the importance of the mandatory training all South Fulton officers receive to better support neurodivergent citizens. So that's what she's working on, and she'll have that story later.
That's great that the officers obviously had the training and were able to utilize that training to be able to help in a situation like this. And it goes to show that it's more than just people breaking laws, that police officers can help. And this is a shining moment of the good that that officer was able to do for that family.
Yes, exactly. Good news coming out of South Fulton.
Yeah.
All right, you want to talk about the painted tree now?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I know probably we've seen a lot of posts on social media, a lot of people interested in this. This is a national chain, and unfortunately it's closing down. That's going to affect a lot of local vendors and folks here in our area who use the place to sell, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the Painted Tree Boutiques abruptly closes all locations, like you said. A lot of the vendors, while the announcement was made yesterday, some of them didn't find out until this morning. The video we're showing you right there is of the one in Roswell. It's over there near the Roswell East Cobb border, and that is where we sent our reporter Tara Jabor to try to talk to some of those vendors who now have to retrieve their items. And I believe that if I'm reading a lot of social media posts about this, Tyler, where someone actually posted an entire, I guess it looks like an email that the Painted Tree sent to the vendors, where it said they would have a skeleton crew at the locations for them to retrieve their items. So Tara's out there trying to talk to some of the vendors that are upset, but a lot of customers are upset as well because it was a spot where they could go shopping and look at what local artists were doing, and purchase some of those items. So big news for people who are fans of the painted tree. And you might be asking yourself why the abrupt closing. It sounds like they've cited rising costs and changing retail landscape. Reports indicate that they are now filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So all of that happening with the painted tree. Tara Jabor is going to have that story later.
A lot of people interested in that, especially since we've seen so many posts on social media. It's not just affecting the Atlanta locations, it's also affecting the Atlanta area locations, but also locations around the country. Lots of people impacted. Tanya, thank you so much for the update on the stories we're working on today. We do appreciate it. And as we come back into our set here, you see a meteorologist standing by. So Lauren Robinson here. Lauren, I stepped outside earlier after a doctor's appointment, got in around 11 a.m. And it was kind of warm out. And already by 11, because a few weeks ago, 11 a.m., you could still have to have the jacket on. I mean, what a completely different picture. And it's only getting warmer.
It is. It's only getting warmer. In fact, we're looking at breaking some record highs as we go through the day today and over the next few days. We've already started to warm into the 80s across a good portion of North Georgia. Some areas still lagging a little bit in the 70s. We're seeing 76 up in Blairsville, and then some 77, 78, 79 degree readings to the southwest. 80 right now in downtown Atlanta, and then we're seeing 82s in Covington as well as out in Eatonton. Now, it's going to be a bit breezy this afternoon, nothing too out of hand, but we will see those winds gusting up to around 22 miles per hour through the afternoon. We're already seeing 22 mile per hour gusts in downtown Atlanta, Gainesville, and in Athens. So it's going to be breezy, and the thing to remember when it's this dry outside and it's this windy, we do have that increased fire danger, especially with our soils being as dry as they are as we continue to intensify our drought. Now, we take a look at our live Viper radar. There's not a whole lot happening across the southeast. We do have that little cold front that's pushing its way through. It'll be pushing its way through Tennessee and into North Carolina as we go through the overnight hours. It'll bring some showers and storms there, but unfortunately, it's looking like it's going to miss us here in Georgia. We need some rain. Maybe the far northern counties can get a light overnight shower tonight by tomorrow morning, but overall, we're going to stay very dry, and our heat is just going to continue to build. We're not looking for any sort of a real front to push through until Saturday evening into Sunday morning, and that's what you're seeing there. That'll move its way eastward as we go into our Sunday morning, bringing some cooler temperatures there. But in the meantime, today, upper 80s, low 90s even in some places, and then overnight, we're looking at those upper 50s to low 60s. So let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. This is what we're really going to be paying attention to. We're looking to break record highs today, tomorrow, and Saturday in the upper 80s and low 90s. But then Saturday night into Sunday morning, that's when that cold front finally pushes its way through North Georgia. And with it, we're looking for some morning shower chances. And behind that is where we're going to see those temperatures fall into the 70s. So there's going to be a big temperature difference between Saturday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. And then we rebound going into the middle of next week.
Just a quick question, Lauren. So the 90 degrees, we were talking about this earlier in the week. This is going to be the earliest 90 degree ever.
Yes,
by far.
Assuming we hit it, that is what it's looking like. So yeah, we're abnormally hot, and we're looking to go down in the record books over the next few days.
Is this a sign of what's going to come this summer when we hit July and August?
Well, it's always too early to tell for that, but let's hope not.
Yeah. Lauren, thank you so much for the update. And still ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, we're going to be talking about all things Atlanta United and the FIFA World Cup. That's just a matter of months away now. We'll be talking with soccer star turned club ambassador Brad Kazan. We'll be right back with Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. Fox 5 is launching a new weekly series with Atlanta United. We'll take you inside the team from matches to major moments, including the road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which is going to have matches here in Atlanta. And we're starting with club legend Brad Gazan joining us live. Brad, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to join you guys.
Well, we appreciate it. And so you have gone from captain to the front office. Let's talk about the team first. And so it's been a tough start for the Five Stripes. But last night was a pretty major game at the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, how's the team doing? Are you guys hoping for a bounce back after this rough start?
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly not been the start that we would have envisioned and would have wanted. But as you mentioned, yesterday was a big result in terms of, collecting a big win in the competition, the U.S. Open Cup, and hopefully striving towards an opportunity to compete for a trophy in that competition. And then when we turn our focus to this weekend against Nashville, back in the league play, it's an opportunity for us to build off of last night's performance. Hopefully that gives our guys a bit of confidence going into Saturday, and hopefully we can have a great performance down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, we would love to see that. And well, let's talk about you personally. So what's been the biggest adjustment for you going from the field to the front office?
I think, for me, being able to one, stay busy, stay within the game, stay within the organization has been fantastic. And so being able to see how everything operates on the sporting side, whether it's data analytics, whether it's our academy, recruitment, things like that, and learning all the ins and outs that go into essentially running the club, as well as then being able to do, more community work, more attending more events that are outside of kind of the team landscape. That part's been really exciting, and as you mentioned in the intro, we've started a podcast, and so being able to dive into this new area, this new space, it's been exciting for me, and I think the people that I've been helping with putting this on and creating this, they've enjoyed it as well, and so it's been a great learning experience for all of us.
So you brought up the podcast. What stories are you hoping to tell, and what has you so excited for it?
Yeah, I think just being able to stay organic, to stay, in this space of being able to talk soccer, talk sports, talk, different athletes from different eras. It's not just about Atlanta United. It's about sport in general, and just being able to share my experiences, some of my stories, but then have guests come on and have a platform for them to be able to share their connection, whether it be to soccer, whether it be to the city. Or just to sport in general. I think that part has been fantastic, and we've had former Olympians, Paralympians, Premier League goalkeepers, as we see there. Last week's episode with Ben Foster, and I know we have some exciting guests on the horizon. So really excited by what that space has been able to give me and our team, but more so excited for where it's going to go.
You able to tease what's ahead? I know there's a special guest possibly tied to the HBCU night this weekend.
Yeah, I know there's a special performance at halftime of a certain Mr. T.I., and we may or may not be speaking to him beforehand, so really looking forward to Saturday. So make sure you guys tune in, and wherever you guys check out all your podcasts, go follow the Guzan Show.
Well, obviously the game is going to be on Saturday. Can you talk a little bit? It's a rivalry, Atlanta United versus Nashville. What goes into a rivalry match, and why has this become such a big rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first and foremost, obvious answer would be the proximity, right? Us to Nashville is, we're quite close. But then there's always been this heated tension during our previous matchups, during our previous games, and so this weekend I'm sure will be no different. And they're having a really good start. We're trying to find our footing within the league play, and so for that reason, it's a massive game for us to try to build off the result the other night and take that confidence and take it into Saturday and hopefully start to string along a couple of performances that not only the team can build off of, but the fans can be proud of as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think we have a couple fans here in our newsroom, so a lot of people are hoping for that momentum to build for the season ahead. And Let's talk a little bit about the World Cup. Atlanta is about to be on the world stage. Obviously, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to be transitioned into Atlanta Stadium for the Cup. What does this mean for the club and also the city?
It's huge. It's huge for the city, for sure, to be able to showcase Atlanta to the world, to be able to allow the world to experience what this city has to offer, to experience our communities throughout the city. It's going to be special on so many fronts. And from a club perspective, you know, we already know what this city, you know, what soccer means to this city, and how they show their support for Atlanta United week in and week out. And so as a club, to be able to welcome the entire world into our home for the entirety of the competition. You know, we're going to be hosting 8 games, one of which will be a semifinal. I mean, the eyes of the world will be on the city of Atlanta. It will be on Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And as the host of the home club at the stadium, Atlanta United, all eyes will be on us. And so it's a really exciting time for us as a club, and exciting time for us as a city. And more so than that, it's an exciting time for fans of the game of soccer.
We could be talking about World Cup all day. We could be talking about Atlanta United all day. But I want to give you one chance for your podcast. Where can people find it if they are interested in being able to take a look at what you have going on?
Yeah, they can find it on all the social channels that you listen to your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, these streams, these avenues that allow us to broadcast and put this show out there. It's been fantastic to work with them. It's been fantastic for us to be able to let our voices be heard in a little bit of a different capacity. And so you can follow at all the main places that you follow all of your podcasts for listening and for viewing.
Brad, thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We do appreciate it, and this is going to be a new weekly series with Atlanta United, so I appreciate you kicking it off for us.
Absolutely. Excited to be working with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. As we continue on here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, farmers in Rockdale County are getting a hands-on look at organic co-farming today. We sent our Chris Rosenthal out there to give us more information about that. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, so several dozen growers here are at this farm here in Rockdale County right now. They're getting a little bit of a lesson in soil science and soil and water, and they've been getting these sort of lessons all day in this field day, they call it, here at this farm in Rockdale County. Really interesting farm. It's something I didn't even know was here by the Global Growers Network. It's about 23 acres of farmland here that is shared amongst a group of farmers. About 11 farmers share this land. They grow mostly organically here, can sell their goods in some of the local farmers markets. It's one of 8 properties, in fact, that they have. But, you know, land access is a really big important thing. And that's what Global Growers is, you know, part of what they're all about, is giving this land access to these to local farmers. And I spoke with Kate Weschler with Global Growers Networks. Just a little bit more about that. Let's take a listen. And this land right here that we're on here in Rockdale County, it's one of the plots that you guys have. I mean, land access is really the big thing here, huh?
Yes, land access is one of the biggest, dare I say, largest barriers for farmers. And so this is a 22-23 tract of farmland that we have in organic. Most of it is under organic certification, and all of it falls under what we call the conservation easement, which we've navigated with the Conservation Fund and Athens Land Trust. And so we're really proud to say that this is the first site that Global Growers has actually ever owned. All of our other community garden sites we do in great partnerships with churches, with MARTA, with different cities, City of Decatur, City of Clarkston. But this, is a piece of land that is Global Growers and will be protected into perpetuity through the conservation easement that we have on it. And so right now there's 11 farmers who are leasing land from Global Growers so that they can launch their businesses here. It's like basically a co-working space for farmers.
That's a good way to put it, really.
Yeah.
There, and I think what's really cool is that a lot of their crops they end up out there available for us to eat in farmers markets.
Yep, yeah. It's always really fun to visit a global grower site because you see just all these different types of produce, and some produce that you might very well be familiar with, but people from different cultures use produce in different ways. And then, people are getting to practice traditions that are important to them, and local fresh produce is available at different markets or different restaurants, or simply just having a family fed with local and fresh food is important too.
Yeah, I talked with one woman, Jasmine Lee. She's one of the farmers here. It's something that sort of runs in her family, and she's had a plot here since about 2024. Grows all kinds of things. Grows garlic. Grows. She says watermelon's a pretty big crop here, and they're starting a farmers market in Rockdale County, and you'll be able to find some of her crops. Her crops there. She has a nice little greenhouse and everything here. So again, a really cool program here. They're going to have a gala, by the way, on April 28th to raise money. This is a nonprofit, so that'll be coming up. But again, this is one of 8 properties like this in the Metro Atlanta area. Most of them in DeKalb County, but this one also over here in Rockdale County. So just a really cool thing, and a little nook, something I had no idea was here.
I would agree with that. I don't think I even had any idea that something like this even existed, and the fact that so many people showed up for lessons in all of this is kind of cool. Chris Rosenthal, thanks for giving us a look inside of this, and we'll see you a little bit later on here on Fox 5 News Live. As we continue on here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, we continue to stay on top of that breaking news out of South Fulton. A woman is dead. We'll have the very latest next when you join us in just 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are continuing to stay on top of that breaking news we told you about right at the top of the hour here. You're looking at live pictures from Sky Fox 5, which is flying high over South Fulton right now, where we have been able to confirm with investigators that a woman was killed in a shooting. We know, according to what police are telling us, that her body was found next to a black Hyundai Elantra behind a popular shopping plaza, and that location is in the 3700 block of Cascade Road. According to what one of our reporters has been able to gather so far, people who work in the area say they did not hear the shots. The public information officer for the South Fulton Police Department, Tori Cooper, has told us that the shooting happened about 10:30 this morning. You can see them kind of centering a lot of their stuff on that parking lot there in the back of that shopping plaza. You can see a number of vehicles there, and it looks like possibly a white tarp on the ground as they're trying to piece together exactly what happened. This is going to be a story that's going to be developing over the course of the next several hours. I know that Eric Perry is arriving on scene, and he'll be checking in with Fox 5 News Live throughout the afternoon to give us the very latest on what is happening. And let's talk about another story we're following, this one a little more global. It has to do with the war in Iran. The Pentagon gave its first briefing this morning since launching a military blockade on Iranian ports, which no ships have broken through. This is increasing the economic pressure on Iran, and the U.S. hopes that this forces the regime back to the bargaining table. The Pentagon is sending a strong message to the Iranian regime, with time running out for them to make a deal before a ceasefire expires next week. In the meantime, the U.S. military is blocking all commercial ships from accessing Iranian ports. Only those carrying essential items like food and medical supplies are allowed to enter, but others, especially those carrying Iranian oil, are met with a warning. Pentagon officials say 14 ships have turned around so far, and U.S. forces have not had to take further action. They also say the blockade will stay in place as long as necessary, and U.S. troops are ready to resume fighting if a long-term deal isn't reached. The White House says U.S. and Iranian negotiators are still talking, and a second round of in-person talks could take place again in Pakistan, but nothing is officially scheduled. Obviously, a big story out of there. It's affecting fuel prices around the world, possible oil issues. It's a story we continue to follow, and we will continue to follow here on Fox 5 News Live. As we continue on this 1 o'clock hour, I want to check in with one of our digital content journalists, Sam Daniel. He's standing by with a look at what are the stories that are trending right now on fox5atlanta.com and our Fox Local app.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, the first story that's trending right now, it's been trending all morning long. It's actually a story that our assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza, broke on this 1 p.m. stream yesterday afternoon. It's about a woman who has been arrested and 3 men that are on the run after an eviction notice turned into a major drug bust. So you're looking at the mother, identified as Carlicia Arnold on your screen right now. She was arrested and 3 men escaped after Fulton County marshals went to serve an eviction notice yesterday in part of the southern part of the county. They showed up and they heard banging in the garage of the house where this woman was. So they started looking around, seeing what was going on in the garage, went in to find weed in several boxes throughout the garage. They've since weighed the marijuana. It is 334 pounds. According to the DEA, that's about $1.5 million worth of marijuana on the street. So a lot of money. The woman was arrested. She's now been charged and is in the Fulton County Jail. There were 3 children at the home. Those 3 kids were handed over to the grandmother, and then 3 men escaped and are still on the run. Police have not released their identity.
And from a pot bust to a stolen identity, what do we know? Hearing a $100 million IRS stolen identity case?
Yes, and at least 40-something cases of identity, 300 false tax returns, according to police. It involves a man in Georgia. His name is, and I'm going to try and pronounce this properly, Akinadad Adedaji Rahim. He's from Atlanta. He partnered with, according to prosecutors, a 42-year-old Nigerian and UK citizen to steal these $100 million worth of tax returns. There are also other people. Police have not released their identities, but they say they all worked together to file 300 false tax returns. And then they filed change of address requests with the IRS to have these returns mailed somewhere else. The scheme brought in more than $100 million. There's 14 counts of identity theft. The 300 false tax returns. Each person now faces up to 20 years in prison. There's a lot more about how this worked. It's very complicated. So if you want to read about that, you can go to the Fox Local app or fox5atlanta.com.
Is wild, and I think people should go click on it. I'm going to go do that when we hit our commercial break here.
Well, and I just filed my taxes yesterday, so now I'm stressed. I'm making sure I get my check in the mail.
Unfortunately, we hear about stories like this, not as big, but we hear stories like this, though, unfortunately, year after year. This next story is one of perseverance, and it has to do with a Georgia teacher, correct?
Yes, her name is Hannah Neighbors. She's a 4th grade special education teacher at Armucci Elementary School. She lost her leg in an awful crash last year. She was T-boned by a drunk driver. She was stuck in her car for 2 hours. And then she really just started to recover, and she decided, you know what, I'm not going to let this hold me back. So a year after her crash, she's going to run the Boston Marathon on Monday. It's amazing. But beyond the perseverance, she found out this prosthetic that you see in the video right now. It cost $5,000 to get made. It's a special prosthetic for running. But state insurance for state employees like her, because she is a teacher, only covers one prosthetic every 3 years. So she got her original prosthetic last year, and she couldn't afford this prosthetic. So the community came together to raise the $5,000 for her. But then she went to the state legislature and said, hey, this isn't right. She worked with leaders. They have now passed a bill that allows people who need prosthetics to get 3 different ones every 3 years. So one for daily use, one for showering, and one specialized prosthetic that's like this that you see in the video there. So she's done a lot for people that are on the state insurance, and we're just waiting to see if Governor Kim's going to sign that bill.
I'm sure a lot of people are probably thankful for her, because not being able to have access to what you need to be able to do what you want to be able to do, and for her, that is to run the Boston Marathon.
Exactly. And so we'll see on Monday how it goes. Hopefully we'll have some kind of follow-up. I know Denise Dillon has been talking closely with her.
Yeah, Denise is a big avid runner, so it makes sense that she was the one who
Denise got married at the Boston Marathon. I found that out from her post yesterday because it was her anniversary on her public Facebook.
I did not know that. Well, that is cool.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
You should go look at her Facebook now.
A really fun fact. I'll go take a look at that. Sam, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us for a look at the stories that are trending on fox5atlanta.com and Fox Local. As we continue on this Thursday afternoon, Midtown Atlanta is getting a bold new addition designed to bring art, culture, and community together in one vibrant space. Leaders say Midtown Green could become the city's next great public gathering place. Fox 5's Elise Edie learned more about it from Kevin Green, the president and CEO of the Midtown Alliance. Let's take a look.
Okay, so let's talk about this and what separates this from like a traditional park or maybe like a green space that we've seen pop up.
So what we're talking about is a public space, which people think about as a park, but this is not grass and trees and benches only. What we're talking about is really a cultural attraction without walls, something that doesn't exist in Atlanta and that would be a brand new experience for people that they would go out of their way to see. So we purchased a 4-acre site, a development site, the middle of Midtown, which is a red hot real estate market.
Yeah,
we're a nonprofit, so that was quite an undertaking. We asked the public what they wanted to see. Almost 6,000 people responded.
What did they say?
They said they want to see something exceptional. They want a place where art and culture can come out of buildings and into the open where they can see, and they don't have to buy a ticket to see it. So that is our aspiration. We're thinking big, and we just delivered some concept plans that are pretty striking.
Yes, I think we've got some of those. So kind of walk me through what the vision is with this, because it's one thing for people to say, it's what they want, but it's another to be able to make that a reality. Right. So kind of walk us through what you guys are looking at here.
Well, what we've done is highly unusual as a nonprofit, so we didn't want to undersell what we were going to achieve, and I think that we've looked for the full potential of a site like this. It's next to the MARTA station, it's next to the Woodruff Arts Center, it's next to Colony Square, Whole Foods Market. There's a lot going around it. 47,000 people today could walk to this site within 7 minutes.
Wow.
So we've got a built-in network of users, plus we want to create something that no matter how old you are, no matter where you're from, this is a place that's designed for you. So you get an idea from the images what we're looking at. This is not a park in the
Right.
traditional sense. This really is a cultural destination.
Yeah, you know,
without walls or
it
ceiling.
looks beautiful. It does. You know, we showed pictures of it in the daytime, and then we saw video of it at night. So it looks like things would kind of change throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, think about going to a yoga class in the morning, having lunch under the trees and in the shade, coming back for a performance. You never really know what to expect, and that's part of the magic. It changes from day to day, and then at nighttime it changes again. So art that moves, changes, surprises you. The performance you didn't expect to see, but you saw, and makes you, go on a Tuesday and come back on a Saturday with friends.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I mean, what made you guys, think that Midtown's the right spot for something like this?
We've been looking for public space for a long time in Midtown, and this is a place that has seen 70 high-rise buildings delivered in 1 square mile in the last 10 years.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, there is no place on earth that we know of that has seen this much investment in this short of a period of time. So we were challenged looking for spaces. We were looking for smaller spaces, and the real estate market turned downward, and we were able to negotiate a price for this 4 acres that we could sustain. It's a big swing for us, for sure, but we're able to do it. And we hired the world's best design team and field operations to help bring it to life. This is the same firm that designed the High Line in New York City, so they've done some really amazing work. And I think they've absolutely shown us the full potential for a site like
And
this.
that's the thing, man. They really did bring it to life in these renderings.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in the middle of it. You can really experience what this space could be. They're moving fast too. I mean, I feel like this has been a really quick moving process so far.
It sure has. We're not wasting any time.
Right.
We're moving forward with a sense of urgency, and in 4 months we've delivered renderings, and I'm even blown away at how much progress we've made in such a short time. So
what are we looking at, long term? When do you think this could actually, become a reality and folks be out there actually enjoying this?
Next steps are finished design. What we've got are, as vivid as these renderings look, we've got a lot of work left to do. This is concept. We go into schematics and final design and engineering and all the good stuff there. And we got to raise the money to build this thing. We have purchased the site. It was $46 million. Ooh. So we start a capital campaign with $46 million of wind in our sails. But we wanted to put something out there that's big, that's going to get the kind of attention and inspire the kind of support that's going to be required to bring this to life. And so we'll start a philanthropic capital campaign, and that'll go as long as it needs to raise the money to build this.
I'm guessing that's something we'll hear more about in the future when that's in place, right? You're going to need that call to action for folks to step up.
We're going to be passing the hat.
That's right, as you should be for this. One more question for you. What do you hope the impact is on the city, on Midtown, as far as, the arts and bringing people together? I mean, just the ultimate goal of this, Kevin.
I mean, there's so much great arts and culture that defines this city. We want to give it a stage that's worthy of that energy, because cities compete on experience. And what we have in mind is unlike anything else anywhere in the country that we're aware of. And so, I want people to show up when it opens, and they can't help but say, wow, out loud.
Yeah.
That's success.
Wow, out loud. I think that's going to happen. Judging by what we've seen and what we've heard, I think that's the plan with all this.
Pretty cool. It's gonna be nice once that comes to fruition, and cannot wait to enjoy it. It sounds like that's gonna be a little bit off, but the renderings look absolutely amazing. Elise, thank you so much for that. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're gonna take you on a trip to the Delta Flight Museum, which is just north of the airport. We'll be right back. Welcome back. An immersive virtual reality experience is now live at the Delta Flight Museum, and basically it's going to take you inside of the flight deck of an Airbus A320. Fox 5's Eli Jordan is standing by live inside of the Flight Museum. Hey Eli, give us a look.
Hey, what's up, Tyler? Yeah, good afternoon. And you know, here at the Delta Flight Museum, they've upgraded it about a year ago. They spent a nice chunk of money on this place. I want you to check it out, though. This is a cool place. I mean, it's much more cozy and comfortable and real arcade, or archived like a real museum. It was just a hangar earlier, and I'm with the president and CEO of the Delta Flight Museum, Gail, what's your last name again? Grimmett. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
Grimmett, I apologize. Let's step out of that light real quick.
Course.
So tell me, you guys spent a lot of money recently on the museum, right?
We did. We just renovated the museum about a year ago in celebration of Delta's 100-year anniversary, our centennial. And
it looks good, by the way.
Well, thank you. And this is only half of it, right? We're in the original two 1940s hangars, and it was a great opportunity for us to really celebrate the past and tell our history and our story, but also equally as important, to motivate and inspire for the future.
And speaking of the future, you guys have a new attraction here. It is the VR experience, and tell me about it a little bit. What is the VR experience?
This is a great immersive experience. We're taking advantage of technology, and you see Willie here, who actually created this, and it is a virtual reality takeoff and landing of an A320 aircraft. And you get in and you put on the thing, and you can see, as you can see, he is sitting here turning on all the knobs, making sure he's doing the right thing for takeoff and landing. But it allows you to feel inspired by this. It allows you to immerse yourself, and you always wondered what it would be like to be a pilot, and you get the opportunity.
And I mean, this is not only for kids, but this is also for aviation enthusiasts, right?
Oh, sure. If kids, aviation, and everybody of all ages. I mean, we all have that sense of curiosity of what happens, and this is the great opportunity for it. Hopefully people get to live out their dreams if they always wanted to be a pilot, or you inspire kids that are growing up to want to be an engineer or a pilot or anything they want.
And we had a pilot, Jason Voudry, on earlier, Delta pilot, and he says he's quite impressed. His first time trying this out.
Yeah, I mean, he flies the A320, and he was really impressed with how real we made it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the group. I know you're going to talk to Willie later, but the fact that we have an innovation lab that allows us to do things like this, and also allow us to innovate things that we bring to our customers that are traveling on us. It's a great opportunity all the way around.
So real quick, how much does it cost to get into the museum if people at home are wanting to check it out? And they want,
It's for adults, it's $20. For kids 4 to 17, it's $15, and then kids, young into 4 years old, it's free.
And this is a little $5 extra charge.
It's a $5 extra charge for the experience. We have different experiences that people can do across the board.
And your website, look at if people want to just check it out and just
DeltaMuseum.org. We're a nonprofit organization, so we love the opportunity to be able to show off the Delta history and be able to tell the stories that made our past. But as we all know, it's a special company and a special story with all of the employees.
And you even have a real big flight simulator here too.
Yes, so we do have a real. This is a real flight simulator. It's a 737-200 flight simulator that our pilots used to train, but we have it here in the museum, and if people want that experience, we've got that experience for them as well.
Well, this looks great, Gail. I mean, the museum is awesome. I like, keeping up with the times with the VR experience and all that. And we'll be back here with more to show it off some more. And Tyler, I'm going to kick it back to you, and we'll get ready for our next hit in the 2 o'clock hour and show off more of this Delta VR experience and the museum. Back to you.
Have you had the ability to try it out yet? I'm curious. Have you been able to?
I haven't too much. I've just been letting the others get it all calibrated, and I've been just get my mind wrapped around the live shot and all that. But I haven't tried it yet. No, that's to answer your question. No.
Honestly, it looks so beautiful inside of there. They did such a great job for their centennial refresh. I just love that the big plane is right there that you can kind of get a look at. It's just in the center of it all. Eli Jordan, thank you so much for a look at the Delta Flight Museum and this new VR experience. And I do appreciate it. It's really cool. Thanks so much. And Tom Haynes is now joining us now with a preview of what's ahead on the Pulse.
I have a feeling that is a place that you would just love to hang out at like all day long.
In a hangar?
No, the Delta Flight Museum.
I have not been there since they did the whole refresh. It's been a few years since I was there. I was there back in, I think, 2018, and I loved it because outside you also can go see the 747, the Queen of the Sky.
You can go in it.
Yeah.
Being the aviation buff that you are, I call you our senior Hartsfield-Jackson international correspondent because you seem to be always there. But Tyler, I have a question for you. Do you oftentimes feel overstimulated? All right, like too much is coming at you at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're in good company. 71% of Americans across generations experience some form of overstimulation. And I'm like, duh. We're like pelted all day long by our cell phones, by media, by seemingly everything. And we're being overstimulated. Gen Z particularly affected, 85% confessing to being overstimulated. Too much screen time is the answer here. So tonight at 7 o'clock on The Pulse, which of course streams right here on Fox Local, we're going to be talking about if we feel overstimulated at times and what's causing this world that we live in now to cause so much overstimulation.
You know what's so interesting? On Tuesday when I was on The Pulse, we talked about AI. I feel like every day there's always something about technology we can talk about that kind of is either good or bad for us.
It's hitting us from every single direction, I feel. So
I think that's going to get a lot of people talking.
Chime in, fox5atlanta.com/pulse, Tyler.
While I have you here, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Be honest.
You're getting a wrap, by the way.
This is related to the next story. Are you a procrastinator?
Depends. About what?
Well,
go to the gym.
Just anything.
Do I go to church on Sunday? Okay, I'm going to admit it. I'm confessing right here. I might be a procrastinator some of the time.
I feel like I'm a procrastinator all the time. Well, apparently there are 4 different kinds. And Fox 5's Alex Whitler spoke with an author and mindset expert to discuss the upsides and pitfalls and share tools to help us level out. So maybe you should stick around.
Okay.
I'm excited for this conversation because I consider myself a procrastinator, but I think it's healthy. So I think a lot of people hear journalists and they think deadlines, right?
Sure.
We're deadline-driven people, but some people do thrive in those fast-paced environments.
They do.
It makes like the adrenaline rush for them.
Totally.
So can you tell us about the pros and cons of being a procrastinator?
Yeah, so the pro is the deadline does help you. The con is nobody's first draft is their best draft. If you gave yourself time to look at it a second time, you're going to find errors, you're going to find a different angle in the story. You're going to iterate. Nobody's first draft is their best draft. So the trick is to use the pressure of the deadline, but give yourself enough cushion that you can pause and go, oh, I just realized this other story is connected to it. Oh, I just found an error. So it's both and.
Yeah, I like how you're validating my workflow here because I'm such a critic, and I feel like as I was reading through some of the different kinds, I'm kind of like the one that wants everything to be perfect, the perfectionist.
Definitely.
So I do try to give myself a little more time to go, I don't like the way that's written, or what happens if we tweak it like this? So I love to hear that that's actually something healthy that people can do. Walk us through, what are the 4 different types of procrastinators?
The 4 different types are dreamers. Dreamers get stuck in the dream stage. They have 1,000 ideas, 0 actions. So big talk, but they don't ever get into action. Perfectionists get stuck planning. Perfectionists will say, I'm going to change the world just as soon as the plan is perfect. I just need a little more information, a little more data. Hustlers get stuck doing. They never want to plan. They never want to review. They just want to jump right in. They often have to rebuild IKEA furniture because they didn't read the instructions. They're like, whatever, Sweden, I got it. And then they have to go back 5 steps.
Because the chair fell out from underneath.
Exactly. You put something upside down. And then analysts get stuck reviewing. They review the mistakes of the past and say things like, that's not how we do things here, or we tried that before and it didn't work. And if you ask them when, they say, 7 years ago. For how long? For 10 minutes. So you decided 7 years ago Facebook ads don't work for your business, or this program doesn't work for your health. And so those are the 4 different places people get stuck.
Well, I'm curious, how did you get into studying procrastinators, if you will?
Yeah, I was a procrastinator. From 0 to 34, I wrote 0 books. From 34 to 50, I've written 12.
Wow.
So I couldn't have written this book as book 2 and say, here's how to never get stuck again, because I didn't know. But by book 11, I feel pretty good about going, hey, I figured out, even as a distracted, kind of busy brain person, how to get a lot done. I think this will help you too.
Yeah, and I was just talking with you in the commercial break. You sound like a very busy guy, traveling for speaking engagements. This is the kind of procrastinator I am. I will pack for a flight sometimes the day of the flight.
Yeah, that.
And I wonder if you do that.
Yeah, I do, but I have a list. So I realized I had purchased ties in 10 different cities because I would forget the tie or I'd forget the belt. So all I did was I came up with a checklist. I gave my brain that job off. I said, hey, you don't have to worry about that. This checklist will do the job. So I have no problem packing last minute, but I'm not acting like it's the first time I've ever traveled. I bring roughly 90% the same things every time. So I just have a checklist in my phone. I just run through the checklist. Then I can do that on autopilot. And then I don't forget a belt. I don't forget a tie. So I'm fine with you waiting to the last minute if you have a tool that's going to do the work for you.
Oh, I'm feeling really good. I thought I was going to be dragged in this conversation.
No, now I'll get to the airport early. Like I don't mess around, especially in Atlanta. Like I don't play around with the Atlanta airport. It will hurt you in so many ways. So I get to the airport early. I don't like those people that are like, I like to go when the door is closing. Panic attack city. No, thank you. Is that you?
It's not when the door is closing, but it's when we've started boarding because I want to go.
Absolutely not.
I just want to walk onto the plane and take off.
You trust TSA? You trust that that's going to be a good experience?
Here's my thing. I will tell you, I trust myself in the way I pack because I never actually check a bag. I carry on
checking bags is for suckers. I never check a bag. I did a 10-day European trip, no check bag. Yeah, no, checking bags.
This is not the topic at hand,
You are an amateur. If you're checking a bag, have you ever traveled? Like, no.
Or lost the bag? That's the worst when they lose your bag. Anyway, let's get back on track here. I want to talk about the opposite of a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Is that just a type A person?
No, I mean, I define procrastination as this: when your actions don't match your intentions. So there's a gap between who you say you want to be and who you're being. Like right now in America, 82% of Americans want to write a book and less than 1% do. So 82% have this desire, 1% do. So the opposite of a procrastinator is somebody who actually gets the things done that they say they want to get done. They finish the workout. They crush the diet. They ask the person out. They do the things. So the opposite of a procrastinator is somebody who has a remarkable life where their actions overlap with their intentions.
I feel like that's the note we need to end on. Let that marinate, because that was a word, John. I don't know if you realize. You do, because you wrote a book about it.
Sure. I got a lot of words. And we taught some people how to travel. What a bonus lesson. What a bonus lesson we get. We didn't have a chyron for it. We just told it. That was just a gift.
News you can use.
Exactly.
With John Acuff. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks
we really
for having
appreciate it. You've been fun. And you can get John's new book, Procrastination Proof. It is out now.
And thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. The news continues at 2 with Ariel Onstadt. We'll be right back.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. We've got a lot of things to cover on your Thursday afternoon, and I want to start with a breaking story we're following in South Fulton. We understand that a woman has been shot to death behind a shopping plaza, and our Eric Perry rushed out to the scene to try to get more information. So, Eric, good to see you. What can you share with us this afternoon?
Yeah, Ariel, still a very busy scene here on Cascade. This is Cascade and Fairburn Road. I'm going to actually ask my photographer, start on the other side because I want to show you where this is just for reference to work out anytime. There is a Metro PCS store, a very busy shopping plaza across from the Target, the Publix, Wells Fargo, and Chick-fil-A for a reference here. But behind this yellow tape and behind this building is really where the scene is. We're told that woman's body was found. We'll get you to some other video that we shot earlier. This is a collaborative effort thanks to our Angelique Proctor, Matt Stringer, who were here and close to the scene. They were able to get images before anyone else of the scene as South Fulton police rushed here behind this complex, unfortunately finding that woman, pronouncing her dead here on the scene. They say she was found outside of that car here. We've seen them for the past couple of hours. I talked on the phone with the PIO of South Fulton police. Right now, there's really not many details. There's still a suspect that is still on the run. Witnesses here say they did not hear any gunshots, and they've been here since early this morning. Take a listen. They didn't want to show their face or their names as they're just too close for comfort to what happened, but they say they're really shaken up.
Who was tugging at our back door. I was like, girl, stop playing on the door before you get kidnapped, because I had seen the officer up here. She was like, I'm not at the back door. I'm sitting right here eating my food. So now we were just questioning like, oh God, I hope it wasn't him trying to come in. It kind of left us a little shaking a little bit.
It was a silencer because I'm telling you, it had to be a silencer.
We've been here since 9:45.
We didn't hear no shots, so it had to be a silencer on the gun that we couldn't hear the shots.
They were referring to in that first sound that you listened to, they believe might have been whoever, or they're afraid it might be whoever pulled the trigger in this incident. Police say they got that call around 10:30, 11 this morning here on the scene. But again, a lot of yellow tape, a lot of questions as they're working to figure out right now. They do not have the identity of that person. I saw the medical examiner's office here on the scene, and then again I saw that transport van as well. Here's what we're going to do between the 2 o'clock and the 3 o'clock, so stick with us. We're going to try to go to the other side where we might get a better view of where that car is and of that scene. We don't know how long police might be out here, but we're trying to gather as much information and details. We've already been told that the chief of police in South Fulton are not going on camera. Honestly, frankly, they say they just don't have that much information right now to give as they're just trying to figure out just exactly what happened. Ariel?
Eric, thanks for the update. And just a clarifying point, the woman was gunned down in the parking lot, not in a vehicle, but in the parking lot there.
Correct. I believe, but they did tell me that that vehicle has something to do with it. They just found the body outside of that car. But I'll ask the PIO to make sure. But I believe a car was involved with that. We saw them searching around that particular car. But they believe to found the woman once they found her. Her body was outside of that car.
Eric, thanks so much for letting us know where the investigation is. We'll see you again at 3 o'clock and see what else you're able to find out. So, Eric Perry, thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock this afternoon, you guys, I want to keep you updated on House Bill 369 here in the state of Georgia. And this is a bill that's drumming up a lot of controversy as it would change how your ballot looks in Georgia's 5 most populous counties. Our Deidre Dukes is live from the state capitol. And Deidre, I understand you spoke with some groups this morning, a coalition of leaders who say they have some serious concerns with this law.
That's right, and the 5 counties that would be impacted here in the metro area if this bill is signed into law would be Cobb, Clayton, Gwinnett, DeKalb, and Fulton counties, the most Democratic-leaning counties here in Georgia. And that is what has raised concerns by those who gathered at Liberty Plaza just outside the state capitol this morning, because they argue that this is both unconstitutional and discriminatory. They are arguing why not all 159 Georgia counties impacted by this legislation instead of the metro area counties here that are run predominantly by Democrats, predominantly by black Democrats in some high-profile positions, including district attorney. And there is a feeling in some circles that this bill really is targeting, in large part, some of those district attorneys, like Fulton County DA Fani Willis, for one. And so this group, which comprised business leaders, labor leaders, in addition to politicians, both at the state and local level, civil rights groups, they are calling on Governor Kemp to veto this legislation. They did tell us that they met with Governor Kemp's staff earlier this week, saying that they would like to meet with him directly to talk about their concerns. We also spoke to Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts, who has been very vocal, especially since the raid at the federal raid at the Fulton County Elections Office, as to why he thinks a lot of the bills, elections bills that made their way through the legislature, why he believes they are targeting the predominantly Democratic counties here in the state. And here's what he had to tell us.
I think that it's our belief that the bill, first and foremost, is unconstitutional, it's discriminatory, and that, in my personal opinion, this is just a part of this overall plan to nationalize elections in this country. And it all began with that FBI raid in Fulton County at our elections hub on the night of January 28th. This is an overall plan. This is just another part of it, and I'm convinced that that's what this is all about. There's no doubt in my mind that Fulton County and Georgia are the targets of Trump and his allies, and that this is going to be a stepping stone if they can win here. And I don't think they can, but if they can win here, this is going to go national.
Now, Ariel, we did receive some pushback. Those critics did receive some pushback during the legislative session immediately following that bill's passage. We reporters talked to in late March House Majority Leader Chuck Abstration about some of those concerns. He called it partisan politics. And here's what he told us as to why he thought nonpartisan elections in these 5 metro counties are needed.
There isn't a Republican line and a Democrat line when entering the courthouse. All citizens should be treated the same as they seek out services from local governments. I've been a long-term supporter of nonpartisan offices on the local level. In fact, when I was first elected, my 2 first bills were to make judicial positions in Gwinnett County nonpartisan, which was carried. It was passed with bipartisan support. It amazes me that as time changes, now Democrats suddenly oppose common sense measures like making local offices nonpartisan. And I think that this provides best possible services to residents. Obviously, district attorneys should not decide whether to prosecute a case based upon a party affiliation. They're just there to enforce the law that's on the books. And so I'm very satisfied that the policy that we received from the Senate would be supported here by legislators. It's unfortunate that Democrats have tried to make this a partisan issue.
Now, we did reach out to Governor Kemp's office for comment. We have not yet heard back today, but the governor, following this bill's passage, has been asked on at least a few occasions about where he stands on House Bill 369, whether he is moving towards passage of the legislation or if he'll veto the bill, and he really has not said either way, simply saying that that bill and others are up for consideration right now, that he and his staff are reviewing all the bills that are on his desk right now, Ariel.
Deidre, really good to know. You know, a thought that comes to my mind, I was hearing what Representative of Stratton was saying, his explanation for why Republicans do want this legislature, or piece of legislation, I should say. My question is, have Republicans addressed why they only want it in 5 primarily Democratic counties? Why not look at the whole state then for these nonpartisan local elections? Because he says he's been a fan of this on the local level since he took office. Have they addressed why they only want these 5 counties and not the entire state of Georgia?
Of course, we reporters have asked that question multiple times in multiple different ways. We've had lawmakers say that it was a public safety issue. We've heard from, lawmakers like Abstration saying that it's all about giving the public an opportunity to assure that their services are nonpartisan, that whether they have they vote Democrat or Republican, that doesn't come into play as to how they receive services or how they're treated, say, for instance, when they go to the courthouse for business. But as far as why not the other 150 so counties in the state, we have not gotten a straight answer on that.
Good to know. And then, of course, we have not heard from the governor just yet. So, of course, we'll keep you updated if we get information from his office as to what the governor plans to do with that bill. Any word on when he might sign it, Deidre? Just unclear at this point?
Yeah, really unclear. Of course, there are several bills under consideration by the governor right now, but again, no indication if and when he plans to sign this legislation or veto it.
Deidre, thank you so much for your reporting, as always. Appreciate our conversations. Thanks for keeping us up to date. We'll let you get back to it and see you again later this evening. Deidre Dukes live there from the state capitol. As we continue at 2 o'clock, let's talk about a suspect who has just been cleared to stand trial. This was a really big story because it dealt with a man who's accused of a mass shooting in Midtown back in 2023 at Northside Hospital. You may remember this story. Well, a judge has just ruled that the man accused of that shooting is now competent to stand trial. Judge Eric K. Dunaway made the ruling today after he originally found Deion Patterson, the man involved, incompetent back last in 2024. Originally, it found him incompetent to stand trial, but now says that this may move forward. That 2023 shooting left one woman dead and 4 others wounded inside the medical practice waiting room there of Northside Medical in Midtown. If the woman's name was Amy St. Pierre, and she was 38 years old. Patterson was charged with murder and felony murder in her death, and faces other charges in the shootings of Jasmine Daniel, Lisa Glenn, Aisha Hollinger, and Georgette Whitlow. He's also charged with 3 attempted counts of battery and other charges in relation to this crime that investigators say he's responsible for. Authorities say that Patterson stole a pickup truck that he used to run away, and he damaged another vehicle by shooting it, leading to charges of theft. So we'll keep you updated as this situation progresses forward. Our Tyler Fingert's going to join us live at 3 o'clock to discuss the next steps in this case, but Patterson's trial, as of right now, scheduled for June 1st. I also want to let you know about an eviction that turned up a really unlikely bust, if you will. Fulton County marshals found over 334 pounds of marijuana while serving an eviction notice Tuesday. Police arrested a mother at her home while 3 men ran from the scene. Now, investigators haven't identified the 3 men, but they say they escaped in a rental truck and a pickup. And one thing that officers have been looking at with this is they were serving that eviction notice first, but it turned into a drug bust when they found all of that marijuana within that home. So we'll keep you updated as this moves through the justice system. But U.S. Marshals say that this was a really interesting case. They say that 2 children lived in the home, and the Marshals Department believes, or rather says, that the grandmother of those children did pick them up. But this is a interesting situation where the U.S. Marshals are now leading a drug investigation in relation to this eviction notice. I also want to let you know, as it relates to that Sandy Springs shooting that unfolded earlier this week, a second brother, the second person believed to be responsible for that deadly shooting, is now in police custody. 2 brothers are in jail after a deadly shooting at a Sandy Springs apartment complex Tuesday night. One thing that investigators have been looking at is what led up to this deadly shooting. They believe it started with a confrontation inside of an apartment. It happened around 8:20 p.m. at Hudson Northridge Apartments. That's at 550 Northridge Parkway in Sandy Springs. And according to the Sandy Springs Police Department, officers arrived to find a person who had been shot, and medics pronounced that person dead at the scene. He has been identified as 29-year-old Justin Tucker. Police say the suspects were 2 brothers, 26-year-old Derek Washington and 20-year-old Mason Washington. Mason Washington is the brother they were just able to arrest. Investigators say the brothers were arguing with Tucker in a parking lot before that shooting happened. And one thing that investigators have continued to look at is what led up to that shooting. What was the confrontation all about? We do know witness statements were really key here and allowed police to quickly apprehend the first brother in this shooting, and then the second one, after a manhunt for a couple days, they were able to take him into custody. So we will continue to keep you updated as that progresses forward. In the meantime, I'm looking off over to my right, and it looks like we have our Angelique Proctor ready to go. So let's switch gears here, because I want to tell you about a happy story for once, a story that we often don't get to hear enough of, and that is an officer who was able to help calm an autistic child at a Walmart. Our Angelique Proctor joins us live. So Angelique, you know, we often hear some really sad stories, but this sounds like a really good community helping community here.
Absolutely. Good afternoon to you. And we often think of law enforcement as those people, or police as those people who enforce laws. But in this particular case, this police captain really showed a whole lot of kindness and showed a whole lot of heart. Like you said, this happened last week at a Walmart on Cascade Road, in the Cascade Road area, city of South Fulton. Several shoppers inside the store notified the police captain there. He was actually working a second job, that there was a child who was screaming, just intense yelling and screams. And so the captain says once he realized what was going on, he immediately approached this mom and her child and put all of his suspicions behind him and decided he was going to extend support. And so what he started doing was talking to the mom about, you know, what do you do to calm your child? And then he proceeded to do exactly that himself. You might see some of the video there of him actually using a telephone to sort of calm this autistic little girl down and allay her mother's fears.
I think that type of training plays.
I asked her, I said, so what types of things do you do to calm her down? And she said, well, she loves watching this show, and that'll kind of bring her down. So I said, okay, well, give me your phone. Let me put it on while you finish checking out. So, and as you see in the body camera footage, I'm holding my phone. I get down to her level, showing her the show, and I'm rubbing her back, kind of, calming her down. So after her mother was wrapping up checking out, I took it a step further to let her mom know that, hey, I'm here to help and support. You want me to push your card out to your car? You need anything else, to let her know that, hey, you're not in trouble. This is a human moment. I just wear a badge and a uniform. So she felt like she had somebody there in her corner.
And of course, she did have someone in her corner. The captain tells me that he is a dad himself, that he has a daughter who is autistic, so he could really identify with what was happening. Now, the interesting thing about this is the City of South Fulton Police Department just recently started doing autistic training in 2022. And so he was able to use a lot of that training to respond to this situation. And the Dr. Cedric Alexander, who's the public safety director here in South Fulton, says it's very important for police officers to be able to de-escalate situations like this, and he believes that this training actually helped do just that.
I think that type of training plays so well into how we have progressed in public safety and law enforcement over the years. And that has been a result of learning through mistakes and learning through educating ourselves, bringing education to ourselves around mental health conditions such as autism, depression, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because in this line of work, where you're dealing with public safety, you're interacting with all types of people in the community, you're at some point going to come in contact with people who may be struggling, and having the training and the wherewithal and the ability to be able to engage that population in much where you slow everything down, you become more patient and timely in your approach. It really helps everything that you learn really helps help to de-escalate a situation.
officers using patience. And the other thing that Dr. Alexander said is that all 250 police officers here in South Fulton undergo this training, and he believes that it's training that is really paying off because it is allowing the officers to better interact with people who have mental health challenges, not only things like depression and anxiety, but autism as well. And so he sees it as a win-win for the community. Ariel?
So heartwarming, Angelique. I feel like we need more stories like this to show the value of training that helps our community. And the fact that that officer was a parent, has an autistic daughter of his own, and knew what to do, you could tell he had the special touch, and it was just able to help calm her down. So, Angelique, really great story. I appreciate you, and I'll let you get back to it. We'll see you again later this evening, but really good work today on this Thursday afternoon, so thank you. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, guys, we've got a lot of stories still to come. Want to switch gears here and talk about some stories we're following nationally. This is a heartbreaking story, so we were able to give you a heartwarming story here at home. Let's talk about something tragically unfolding in Virginia, because at this point, the former lieutenant governor of Virginia is dead after police say he shot and killed his wife in a murder-suicide. Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says that former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot his wife multiple times inside their home in Annandale. Fairfax then went to another part of the house where he shot and killed himself. Officers arrived just after midnight Thursday, and they found both adults dead inside that home. They're trying to figure out what led up to that shooting, but the chief says the couple was in the process of a divorce, and the chief further says the couple's children were in the home at the time of the shooting. They were not hurt, but of course this is traumatizing. Take a listen to what the chief had to say.
So far, what we know is probably what you all know, and I don't think it's a secret that there's been divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. From what I understand in this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding. That apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through. But we know that it all kind of culminated last night when Justin Fairfax shot several times and killed his wife, ran to a different part of the home, and then killed himself with the same firearm. The question is, have we had any previous domestic or calls for service to this location? In January of this year, Mr. Fairfax calls the police and alleges that his wife assaulted him. We responded to that scene. There are several cameras set up inside the house. Apparently, Mrs. Fairfax, at some point during these divorce proceedings, set up a lot of cameras inside the home. We reviewed those cameras, and we corroborated that the alleged assault never occurred. So there was no arrest made. There was a report written, but the allegation that Mr. Fairfax made in January that Mrs. Fairfax assaulted him was proven to be untrue.
Heartbreaking story to have to report, but as always, I want to let you guys know if you or someone you know is struggling with domestic violence, call the Domestic Violence Help Hotline. That is 1-800-799-7233 to get help 24/7. I also want to let you know about a jury trial that is going to have some significant ramifications for potentially how we buy tickets. While it's safe to say none of us like paying more than we have to, good news could be on the way for us fans of music. A jury in New York ended days of deliberation yesterday, stating Live Nation and its Ticketmaster subsidiary are an illegal monopoly, saying they monopolized concert venues. And this stems from a lawsuit brought on during the Biden administration, in which 34 states and the District of Columbia sued. One thing that we're looking at with this lawsuit is that it alleged Live Nation and Ticketmaster's actions wiped out competition by limiting stages where artists could perform and triggering a surge in higher ticket prices. cases. The potential aftermath of this jury trial won't be felt for some time. A judge now has to hold a second trial to figure out what actions are going to be next. Live Nation denies acting as a monopoly, and in a statement Wednesday said in part, quote, "The jury's verdict is not the last word on this matter." As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys are chiming in here on the chat, talking a little bit about some of the stories we're covering. It is great to see you here at 2. Always a pleasure to have you here asking questions, chiming in. If you have questions on any stories we're covering, let us know here on TikTok, YouTube. I'll be monitoring. But straight ahead, we're going to get to the latest on the war in Iran because we have some significant developments in a ceasefire proposal today. Also want to talk about the latest as a new arch is being proposed in Washington, D.C., and your local weather forecast. That's straight ahead. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. It is a warm day outside, and that trend's only going to continue. Let's get over to meteorologist Lauren Robinson for the latest.
Well, as we continue through the rest of our day, it's going to be hot and dry. Here's a look at our latest drought monitor that was released today. It's released every Thursday, and as expected, it's worse and worse and worse. So as we take a look to the south here, we have a growing area of exceptional drought, which is the deepest level of drought you can be in. We're seeing that across southern portions of the state, but even as we zoom in north here to our viewing area, this level 4 here, this extreme drought is continuing to grow as well, already encompassing most of metro Atlanta. And the bad part about it is in the next 7 days, we're not really expecting much more rain. So this red part is likely going to continue to expand westward and southward, continuing to fill in all across North Georgia. So while the weather's been nice for those outdoor activities, we could desperately use some rain all across the southeast. Now, since we're not getting the rain, what are we getting? Well, that's going to be dry, warm conditions. We're looking for those temperatures in the upper 80s. Some areas could even see 90 degrees today. We're going to get a lot of sunshine, and it's going to be breezy out there. So something to keep in mind: when it's breezy and when it's dry, that increases our fire risk. So you really want to watch for those outdoor burns, especially with as dry as our soil is. Now, outside of that, as we go through the rest of the evening, some lucky areas to the north could be getting some overnight showers and storms. Most of this activity is going to fall in Tennessee and into North Carolina. The far northern counties of Georgia could be lucky enough to get some stray raindrops overnight by early tomorrow morning, but certainly not enough to get us out of the drought, and the vast majority of us stay dry as we move through the next several days. So by the time we're waking up tomorrow, more sunshine. Now, as we take a look at those temperatures, we're going to be well above average today. We're looking at those highs in the upper 80s. Some areas could even see 90 degrees. Of course, this is above average, but we could even be record-breaking, going down in the history books not only today, but tomorrow and Saturday as well. That's how long this hot weather is going to stick around. Now, with as dry as our air is, that's where we see a big difference between afternoon highs and overnight lows. So we will be falling back into the upper 50s, lower 60s by early tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at the 7-day forecast here, because we do have some changes that'll happen midway through our weekend. We go through our Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Each of these days, we're looking like we're going to break existing records, and some of these records are very long-standing. So it looks like the next few days will likely go down in the history books for just how hot we're going to be. But then Saturday evening into Sunday morning, we're going to get a cold front that pushes through. It'll be a weak cold front. Really, all we're going to get from it will be maybe some light morning showers. Saturday or Sunday, very slight chances there. But once that front settles in, we're going to see cooler temperatures behind it. So there'll be a big difference in temperatures between Saturday to Sunday. And then once we drop into the lower 70s Sunday afternoon, those temperatures rebound quickly, and then we're looking at those highs back in the low 80s by the middle of next week.
Lauren, thanks so much for the update. We are definitely going to stay tuned to potential record-breaking heat here in Atlanta. I know we're all going to feel it. Okay, let's switch gears to something that's just unfolded in the last couple of hours, really. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire, and it will start at 5 o'clock this evening. President Trump announced that just a few hours ago, and the president has also invited the leaders of Israel and Lebanon to the White House for the country's first high-level talks since 1983. This comes after the Pentagon gave its first briefing this morning since launching a military blockade on Iranian ports. No ships have broken through that blockade as of now. The Pentagon says 14 ships have turned around, and the only ships that can enter are those carrying essential items like food and medical supplies. This is increasing the economic pressure in Iran, and the United States is hoping it will force the regime to the bargaining table. The Pentagon has sent a strong message to Iran, basically saying that time is running out for them to make a deal before the ceasefire is ending next week. So that is something we are going to closely keep an eye on. But as an effect of this war, Europe is now running out of fuel. The world's leading international energy agency is sounding the alarm on this, issuing a stark warning today about how the war in Iran is affecting global supplies of oil and gas. And at this point, Europe has about 6 weeks of jet fuel left. Faith Berthol, the leader of the International Energy Agency, says that this ongoing conflict with Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is putting unprecedented pressure on energy supplies. She says that soon the effects are going to be felt here in the U.S. with canceled flights and higher ticket prices, higher than we're already seeing as airlines are gearing up for the busy summer travel season. About 25% of the world's oil was transported through the strait before the conflict began, which has forced countries to start digging into their oil reserves. President Trump says the oil will start flowing again when he makes a deal with Iran, but so far that hasn't happened, and the president has been saying we're close to a deal with Iran for a few weeks now. The strait is under a United States naval blockade, and ships cannot get through. The White House has pointed out prices are already falling as it relates to gas and predicting they're going to be back to normal by late summer or early fall. But will that be too late for a lot of airlines who are seeing the high prices now? That is the question. The International Energy Agency says gas prices could climb to $5 a gallon for a long period of time if the strait is not reopened by the end of May. So this is something we're closely watching. In the meantime, House Democrats have filed articles of impeachment against War Secretary Pete Hegseth. This 7-page impeachment resolution makes serious allegations about Hegseth's leadership abroad. It claims he engaged in war crimes and misdemeanors, and in particular, his handling of the war in Iran. The resolution from House Democrats lists 6 articles of impeachment, including unauthorized war against Iran, reckless endangerment of U.S. service members, abuse of power, and the politicization of the armed forces, among other articles. In defense of Hegseth, set. The Pentagon press secretary is calling the impeachment effort, quote, another charade and an attempt to distract the American people from the major successes that we have had, end quote. And that it represents, quote, just another Democrat trying to make headlines as the Department of War decisively and overwhelmingly achieves the president's objectives in Iran. So giving you perspective from both sides here. We're going to keep you updated as that progresses through the House and whether or not it makes it out. I also want to let you know, as it relates a little closer to home here, President Trump is pushing for some major construction projects. It's not just the White House ballroom, but now he wants to build a large arch in the center of Washington, D.C. to commemorate America's 250th birthday. Many groups are protesting, saying this is a vanity project and it will ruin the aesthetic of the Capitol. But the president wants this United States triumphal arch in the middle of our nation's capital. The concept and design was presented to a key federal agency for review and approval today. And the president wants this 250-foot arch built at Memorial Circle with no expense spared. You can see the renderings here. They feature a Lady Liberty-like figure with wings on top, flanked by 2 soaring eagles, and guarding the base are 4 lions, all in gold. The arch is getting a lot of pushback as a group of veterans and historians filed a lawsuit trying to block construction, saying it's going to obstruct sight lines in Washington, D.C. The president is also proposing to paint the Eisenhower Executive Office Building and to build an underground screening center for White House visitors. So definitely some things we're going to continue to keep you updated on here on Fox Local. But in the meantime, coming up, I want to let you guys know about some new technology coming to Emory University. Our Kevin Stewart is standing by, so we're going to check in with him on how scientists developed this and how it's set to help people who cannot speak. That's straight ahead. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live here with us at 2 o'clock. Emory University is developing some new technology with the help of artificial intelligence to help people. And Kevin Stewart, I understand this could help people who aren't able to speak.
Yeah, that's the goal with this. This is fascinating stuff. You know, science fiction becomes science reality, science fact. You know, people who lose the ability to communicate because of paralysis, stroke, ALS, what the researchers here at Emory and Georgia Tech have been working on for the past 5 years, along with some other researchers from around the country, is taking a sensor about 3 millimeters by 3 millimeters, and surgically implanting them into a person's brain about 1 millimeter deep. And what they're able to do is you're taking these brain waves and they're feeding into an AI system, an AI algorithm, and it's able to project what people are thinking and put it on a screen. I had a chance to talk to one of the biomedical researchers about his work with a particular patient during a clinical trial. I want you to take a listen.
She's attempting to speak, and naturally when she does that, you don't hear very much, unfortunately, because of her stroke. So while she's attempting to speak, we're monitoring that activity in her brain, and then we're sending it through these very, fairly complicated artificial intelligence algorithms that say, okay, this pattern of activity, this pattern of electrical signals means yes, or this pattern of signals means hi. And through, by getting enough examples of kind of words with the patterns of activity, we can basically decode what she's trying to say without her being able to say it.
The controls.
Yeah, so this is really interesting stuff, and so again, this has broad implications. I mean, in fact, we had a chance to go a little bit further, and my photographer, Michael Moore, asked a question, a really good question. He said, could this be a universal translator? And here's what we came up with.
Translator to translate electrical activity into speech. And the same concept should work, we think, regardless of whether that speech is English or Spanish or, even Chinese.
Yeah, so this is going to be something that we will continue to follow. They said that they continue to bring in folks for clinical trials, and it's being used in different places around the country, and they really see this as something that you're going to see down the line. And the more we see AI being used, the stuff that we're coming up with, the scientists is absolutely incredible. Ariel?
Kevin, I always knew we would get to this point, but I feel like the fact that we are here so quickly is just mind-blowing. It's only a matter of time before we have a wearable device, I feel, that can read our thoughts or understand what we're thinking based on how this artificial intelligence is able to decipher what we're trying to say from patterns.
And you know something?
Yeah.
And here's the interesting thing about this is that the researchers insist that you can control these brainwaves, you can control what you're projecting. So it's not like it's reading everything in your mind, it's reading your intent. So if I'm saying I want a glass of water and it's reading that, that's what's going to pop up on the screen as opposed to like, you son of a gun, or, watch bothering me. So it's
Sure.
how that happens is unreal. But like I said, science fiction has become science reality.
Yeah, you said it best. The idea that it's reading your brain waves and not what you're actually saying. Incredible. Kevin, this was so interesting. I appreciate you bringing this story to our attention. I also know you spoke with a Dr. Nicholas Young as well. We weren't able to get quite to that, but
Right.
if you want, you can tell us real quick just what he had to say.
Yeah, he just went into a little further into how this all works and the implications down the line. He says that, this is something that's really important. It's a passion of his, and he's looking forward to doing more work on this.
Bringing this to our attention. We'll see you again here this evening as you follow this story, so thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, I want to keep you updated on a local story we're following here in the newsroom. Imagine going to a lab to get some work done, maybe blood work, maybe some labs drawn up, and you give your credit card information to a lab worker or a tech there at the facility, and then find out that your credit card information was stolen. That is what happened here, police say. The Villa Rica police say Takia Bradshaw worked in an area in a medical lab office and allegedly snapped pictures of patient credit cards. And so because of this, police are saying she now faces 10 charges for fraud and identity theft. Police are warning the public to stay alert because the victim's physical cards were never missing, but their identity, their information of those cards was captured and used to spend more than $1,000 on DoorDash orders and Victoria's Secret merchandise. So as you might imagine, Bradshaw has been arrested, and police are saying just be careful and be mindful as you monitor your spending. If you didn't do do it, make sure you know where you put your credit card details down. As we continue here, I also want to let you know that Fulton County leaders have approved a $1.3 billion plan for a new special purpose jail facility, and this will also renovate the current jail. The plan is aimed at ending overcrowding at the Fulton County Jail that's led to stabbings and deaths. But get a load of this new facility is not going to open until 2031. So that is quite some time, and the issues do persist at the Fulton County Jail. It remains unclear if this approved funding is going to be enough to satisfy the federal monitors who have come to our jail and said that it has serious issues that need to be addressed, whether it's going to prevent future overcrowding as Atlanta's population grows and thus the population of the jail could grow. But this is something that the Board of Fulton County Commissioners has voted unanimously to fund, this special use facility for the jail that will have 1,800 beds. So we're going to follow this closely here. I want to talk a little bit about some national news here quickly as we continue, because President Trump is threatening Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. This is a tale as old as time in the sense that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has long been a thorn in the president's side over his cautious approach on interest rates. The president has long wanted Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, or for the Federal Reserve to do so, which they have resisted. But Powell's term as chairman comes to an end next month. He still has 2 years left on his term as a member of the Fed Board of Governors. The president says that's not going to fly and that he will fire Jerome Powell if he doesn't leave the Fed when his term runs out next month. So we'll keep you updated as this progresses. The president did pick Fed Governor Kevin Warsh to take over in May, but one Republican is standing in the way. That would be North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis. He holds a decisive vote on the Senate Banking Committee, and he's vowed to block Warsh's nomination until the Justice Department drops a criminal probe into Powell. The DOJ's investigation is centering around Powell's renovation of the Fed, which has gone way over budget. Powell denies any wrongdoing, and Democrats claim the president does not have the authority to fire him. So this is something we'll continue to keep you updated on as it progresses forward. But in the meantime, I want to take you to our Eli Jordan coming up next for a VR experience at the Delta Flight Museum. That is straight ahead. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. Delta's Flight Museum is debuting a really cool experience with the help of virtual reality. Let's get out to our Eli Jordan, who joins us live from the museum. Eli, what's happening here?
Hey, Ariel, yeah, I haven't been to the Delta Flight Museum in eons, and they've done a really cool job with it. I mean, check it out real quick before we get to the... It looks beautiful in here. I like it. I'm impressed, and this isn't even all of it. But back to what we're reporting on, I'm with Willie Barnett. Willie, you've developed, you and your team, Delta Innovation, called the Hangar, I guess.
Yes.
Developed this VR experience here for the museum, correct?
Correct.
And just tell me, this is a landing, not a simulation, but an actual landing on VR.
Yeah, it's a landing procedure, a couple steps of a landing procedure. We work with our flight ops team, who are our pilots, and some of our innovation partners to create a scenario of a future-looking technology and potential of learning and training.
How long did it take to develop this for the museum?
For the museum, it took about 30 days. And what we did was, it was 30 days, and it took about 3 or 4 engineers to create, and we work with our innovation partners and this Apple Vision Pro headset to create it.
So, I mean, you guys had to go out there and get this footage, and I mean, you had to use a special camera and stuff, right?
No, we actually used a pre-model that was created, a 3D model of the cockpit, but we had to like make it custom to look exactly like what it looked like.
All the buttons and everything.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And so, what do you hope people will walk away with this when they come here to the museum and put on the VR headsets and come in for a landing? I guess at Las Vegas, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
First, I would like them to see what kind of innovation things we do within Delta, kind of a behind-the-scenes look. And if a lot of people, when you're on the plane, of course, you would want to get into a cockpit. This is the best thing you can do to get inside of a cockpit is put this headset on.
So, Aaron, you're flying. You think you can bring this in for a landing, Aaron?
I sure hope so. I should be like everybody.
So, I mean, this is the first time, that you guys have worked with the museum, correct?
Yes, this is the first time, yes.
So I guess maybe we can expect, I guess the partnership is good and exciting, and this is about to be debuted to the public soon. Can we expect more stuff along the way, maybe?
Hopefully, anything that we create that is able to see to the public, hopefully we can bring it into the museum and expand the reach.
Awesome. Well, Willie Barnett, thank you very much for your chat here with the VR experience here at the Delta Flight Museum.
Thank you.
There's the guy that manages the team and came up with the innovation, and this is the museum itself. Go to deltamuseum.org if you want more information on how much it costs to attend and their hours, and come out and check out this museum, check out the simulator and the VR experience over here. It's really cool, Ariel, and so I'd suggest come on down here. It's pretty cool.
Eli,
I like airplanes.
I'm gonna have to come check it out for myself. Looks like a really cool immersive experience, a way to maybe fly an Airbus airplane. So Eli Jordan, thanks so much for sharing this with us. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, I want to get out to our Chris Rosenthal, who is showing us how some local farmers are growing produce with global growers. Chris, I understand they have this 23-acre property in Rockdale County, so local farmers, maybe who don't have land of their own, can actually grow some produce.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here on that piece of property from the Global Growers Network nonprofit that has this property, and they also work with about 7 other properties across Metro Atlanta, mostly in the DeKalb County area. They've worked with about 200 or so growers and farmers over the years, giving them an opportunity to really come out here, work the land, give them that land access that's so hard to get. I talked with one of those growers just about her farm and why this is so important to her. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, so I'm growing a variety of vegetables, fruit, and culinary herbs. So things like tomatoes, different types of peppers, potatoes, sweet potatoes, basil, kale, collards, watermelon, things like that.
And, when these crops come up and they're ready to go, what will you do with them?
So I'll be selling them. Rockdale County is starting a new farmers market, the Rockdale Farmers Market. I'll also be doing local deliveries and on-farm pickup if people want to actually come see where it's grown.
And a lot of the farmers here, sell their what they grow at local farmers markets. It's kind of a nice full circle thing. I mean, what does it mean to you to have the opportunity to use this plot of land? I mean, you've been here since 2024. What does that mean to you?
It means a whole lot. Finding Global Growers Network provided an opportunity that I didn't think I would have so early on in my farming career. I got started with Georgia Organics with their farmer apprenticeship in 2023. Found out about this place at the end of that year and got started in 2024. I thought I'd have to wait 5+ years to be able to find and afford a property. And the model that they have here with the co-farm, it's a lot more affordable and increases land access for farmers in general, but especially young farmers.
Yeah, I mean, is farming something that's sort of coming back? Is it sort of a new attractive field to be in? I feel like
it is. Agriculture in general, I feel maybe there is a bit of a shift in people and families wanting to connect more with where food comes from and see the whole process. So I do feel like maybe it's coming back into fashion in a way.
And that was Jasmine Lee. She's one of 11 farmers here who got to share some of her expertise with a group of other growers, about 24 or so growers that came to visit this farm here today. Again, this is a nonprofit. They're having a gala, actually. If you want to donate, they're having a gala coming up on April 24th. You can go to globalgrowers.org to find out more.
Chris, so wonderful experience, and I so resonate with what she said about how people are wanting to understand their food supply, where their food is coming from, be more involved in the process, and what a great way to do that. So, Chris Rosenthal, thanks for bringing Global Growers to our attention. Appreciate you. We'll see more from you again here coming up at 3 o'clock. And you guys, thank you as always for being here with us live at 2. I'm Ariel Onstott, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here chiming along in our chat, asking questions about what's what's happening and what we're covering this Thursday afternoon. We've got more to come with our Tom Haynes straight ahead here at 3.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. We begin this hour with breaking news out of Smyrna, where we are on top of what appears to be the conclusion of an apartment fire. You see Smyrna Fire Rescue there out on the scene. This happens to be the same apartment complex where not too long ago, 3 people were killed in yet another fire. Our photojournalist Jim Zorn is live on the scene there. Jim, what more can you tell us about the circumstances which led up to this fire?
Well, actually, I just got on scene. From what I'm seeing from reports is that nobody was injured in this fire. But as you can see, the roof of the building is completely gone. They're still out here covering hot spots. When I walked up, they have hoses blocking the road so you couldn't drive up into the complex. So it looks like from this angle that they're still spraying on the other side of the building for that corner right there. I have not got an assessment of the damage from the PIO from Cobb County, but he is on scene. You can see that they have quite a presence out here. The ladder trucks, the different emergency vehicles, they have pumper trucks, and I think they have relay trucks because I could be wrong, but the whole road has lines coming off a fire hydrant at the top of the street, which is blocking all the traffic. And so I think these other trucks are like pumper trucks that just move the water from one truck to another to get down here. So that, to me, just guessing from my years of doing this, is that they don't have a lot of fire hydrants in the location, or they wouldn't need to do that.
Yeah,
so that's kind of where we're at right now.
That could be potentially problematic, and given the condition of this apartment building, it looks like it is a total loss. But as you say, fortunately, nobody reportedly has been injured. Just a little ironic that we're talking about the same property where 3 people were killed in a separate fire not too long ago. And as you say, boy, Cobb County Fire Rescue showed up in force. I mean, I counted at least 5 to 7 engines on that property. But from your perspective, it was just to be able to get water to this fire, not necessarily helpful to firefighters as they work to control these flames. Looks like they are out. Give us a geographical idea, Jim, if you will, of kind of where you are in Smyrna.
So I would say, just from remembering the map, coming in, the map, it seemed like I was kind of on the more Austell side when you come up Windy Hill Road and kind of come across Old Concord. That's about where I am, which makes sense. This is called Concord Crossing, but you kind of go, it's definitely a very serene, old trees, older neighborhoods. I had to park at a church to walk up through a bunch of trees and some hills. So it's definitely not a commercial area. It's definitely a lot of homes. This apartment complex is actually seems semi out of place considering everything around it is houses. So that's interesting to note. And it was, before I even realized the connection, as soon as I walked up, I saw the sign and I'm like, why do I know Concord Crossing? So that is sad that, it's potential that I've been out here for other stories and that these people can't get a break. And it seems like these older apartments all the time are having issues.
Is an unfortunate coincidence. Jim Zorn, who is on the scene there as firefighters look to be putting out at this point kind of hot spots in that apartment building. Jim, we'll check back with you if there are any developments that warrant. Meantime, thanks for the latest on that story. Also in the news here and developing out of South Fulton this afternoon, police are on the scene of a fatal shooting behind a very busy shopping plaza. Officers say that a woman was found dead next to a car on Cascade Road just before noontime. Eric Perry out there live on the scene working to learn more from investigators this afternoon. Eric, what more do we know?
Yeah, Tom, so when we talked at 2 o'clock, we were on the other side, but now we're at the 3 o'clock hour. I promised I would give you a different angle, and this one gives a better picture of what we're seeing out here. So their attention is focused on that black car. The body, unfortunately, was removed maybe about 30 minutes ago. They came in, but it's been out here since around 10:30 when South Fulton police initially got that call. You can see markers there on the ground. We'll continue to show different video that's out here as well. This is where they are pointing their attention. We also saw officers meticulously combing through this parking lot looking for any sort of damage, any evidence that might be able to aid in this particular case. I just saw a tow truck not too long ago. I spent my afternoon talking with different people on the scene. One woman we talked to said she worked with the victim. She did not give the victim's name. However, she said that she was in her 30s and she worked nearby, not even a quarter of a mile away, and was on her lunch break when this happened. Went to go take a little break, and then unfortunately this happened. It looks like they are collecting evidence markers as they work to clear this scene here if we're taking a live look. But I'm told that this woman who has yet to be identified has a young child as young as 2 years old as they're working to figure out what happened. Again, this is behind the shopping plaza here that is on Cascade and Fairburn Road to give some sort of a direction. If you know where the old Blaze was, the Candy's restaurant is now a Piedmont Urgent Care. There's a gym here. There's the Metro PCS. All of that, it's right directly behind that and where that Walgreens is across the street from that Chick-fil-A, just to give a geographical area here. I wanted you to listen to 3 different people. One is the lady who worked with her. She walks us through the type of person this woman was. The second are workers at a nearby business who heard someone knocking or banging on their door. They are now thinking it might be whoever was responsible for this shooting. We'll listen together.
Loving, caring, outgoing, fun person to be around, a mother, someone that you can learn something from, learn things from. Yeah.
Like not knowing who was tugging at our back door, I was like, "Girl, stop playing on the door before you get kidnapped." Because I had seen the officer up here. She was like, "I'm not at the back door. I'm sitting right here eating my food." So now we were just questioning, like, "Okay, I hope it wasn't him trying to come in." It kind of left us a little shaking a little bit.
It was a silencer. Because I'm telling you, it had to be a silencer.
We've been here since 9:45.
We didn't hear no shots, so it had to be a silencer on the gun that we couldn't hear the shots.
All right, so you're listening to that. They're saying that they just did not hear any gunshots, and they were right here directly behind, so they would have heard it. That's why they believe a silencer might have been used in all of this. Police say they got the call at 10:30, so I'm not sure if for some reason the body might have been out here longer, but talking with the friend, the woman was out here on some sort of a lunch break, so I don't believe that it's been a situation where the body had been out here all throughout the night. Now, here's what I'm working on for 4 o'clock. The suspect information right now, there's just not a lot of details to give. I've been in contact with the PIO, with South Fulton Police. Right now, there's really not much to relay, but they're hoping someone, maybe surveillance in the area or surveillance from one of the nearby businesses, might be able to bring a better picture, a better clue as to what happened. But we're working to learn more about this woman as that body was taken by the medical examiner's office and the transport van, as we're hoping maybe later this afternoon we'll be able to get a name to put with this scene here. Tom?
Yeah, and just piecing together the components of this story, Eric, some of which may still be coming together with investigators not providing that much information, but did you say that that they didn't know how long the body had been there, number one, and number two, I think I heard you mention that there may be a silencer involved here, maybe not, but that would indicate kind of a bizarre method of using deadly force with a weapon. Usually silencers aren't involved in situations like this.
Yeah, witnesses, they're the ones that are piecing that part together just simply because they were so close, and they say that they just did not hear any gunshots. Police say that they got that initial call around 10:30 this morning, so I think they're trying to figure out and pinpoint just exactly how long it's been out here or how long the body and the woman's body has been out here. But again, they're focusing on that car, and from what I've been able to tell from co-workers, she showed up to work this morning. They remember seeing her, and they say she might have stepped out on some sort of a break. So that is where I think a lot of the investigation will come in. Was she meeting somebody? Was this random how did this happen and just the exact time of all of this coming together.
All right, but at the end of the day, a really upsetting set of circumstances there at that popular mall off Cascade Road. Eric Perry reporting live from there. Eric, thanks. Also in the news here at 3 o'clock, a routine eviction in South Fulton turns into a major drug bust after marshals uncover hundreds of pounds of marijuana. Now, officers say that they were serving papers at a home on Canterbury Way when they stumbled upon more than 334 pounds of weed stashed in the garage. Investigators say that the three men spotted the marshals and flew from the scene in a rental truck, leaving the drugs and a mother behind. The mother was arrested, charged with trafficking, while her two children were placed with their grandmother. Police are still searching for those three men who escaped that scene. New details tonight in a deadly shooting at a Sandy Springs apartment complex where two brothers are now behind bars. Police say Derek and Mason Washington were arrested after an argument in the parking lot of the Hudson Northridge Apartments turned fatal. The victim has been identified as 29-year-old Justin Tucker, who was pronounced dead at the scene Tuesday night. Investigators say witness statements were key in quickly tracking down the brothers, who both lived at that complex. Both suspects are now facing murder and aggravated assault charges as police continue to look into what sparked that initial fight. New video reveals the moment Atlanta police arrested a 71-year-old babysitter for the murder of a 3-year-old boy. Body camera footage shows officers taking Barbara Edwards into custody, charging her with felony murder in the death of little Armani Lyons. Investigators say that the child was shot in the head earlier this month while in her care and accuse Edwards of lying to police during the initial investigation. Tonight, the search continues for the babysitter's son, Jermaine Hardman, along with a third unidentified person who was at the home during the shootings. Family and friends say that they are just devastated, describing Armani as a child who should be out enjoying the weather rather than be the subject of a murder investigation. Well, a judge has made a ruling in the Midtown Hospital shooter investigation that suspect, the man charged with the shooting, is competent for trial. Remember, there was some question as to his mental capacity. Joined by Tyler Fingert, who's covering this for us this afternoon. Tyler, we're talking about Deion Patterson, accused of killing one woman at that Piedmont medical facility in Midtown and injuring 4 others in 2023. Before going on the run, he was on the run seemingly all day. We were on the air for that entire chase, if you will, to find him. But now it looks like he's going to be competent to stand trial, and that could upend this entire case.
Yeah, so initially he was found incompetent to stand trial, and they were able to rectify that situation. And today his own attorney said in court that, unfortunately, I appear to hear myself in my earpiece here, said in court today that that they were able to determine that he was able to stand trial because he was found to be competent after, again, being found incompetent initially. Today's competency ruling is a major turning point in a case that has been delayed. It's a complete 180 for Deion Patterson, who was previously ruled incompetent to stand trial after allegedly killing Amy St. Pierre and wounding 4 others in 2023. For years, the case was on hold because of questions about his mental state, but now they want to get to trial quick. The court has set a June 1st trial date, though it could be pushed back until August, and a legal expert says it's a major turning point, but there's also urgency.
Mr. Patterson's trial is now scheduled to begin on June 1st because all of the parties agree that he is competent currently and ready to assist in his own defense. It behooves both the state and the defense, as well as the court, to have a trial while the person has been deemed competent. Competency is an evolving issue. Defendants can be competent at one point and then not competent at another point. So ensuring consistent competency during the trial is a really important priority for the court. In order to protect the legitimacy of any trial, the court needs to ensure that Mr. Patterson maintains his competency.
And that is Joshua Schiffer, a longtime criminal defense attorney. He is been in the business for a long time, so we go to him to ask him questions about things like this, and he says that the court is going to want to try this case while Patterson is considered competent. As you heard, it can kind of fluctuate and go back and forth, but currently he is considered competent to stand trial. And he says when this case does go to trial, he expects the legal fight to center on Patterson's state of mind at the time of the shooting, which will determine whether he can be held criminally responsible. Tom?
I don't know if some of the folks that are streaming with us this afternoon remember this case. Again, 2023, he walked into a Piedmont, allegedly, according to police, hospital building in Midtown, unleashing this scene in Midtown Atlanta, killing, allegedly, one person in that building before, I believe he carjacked somebody and then took off, wound up in Cobb County.
Yeah, they arrested him in Cobb County, and I do want to clarify, I believe it was a Northside Hospital Medical Center.
Northside, okay.
Just not Piedmont. So Piedmont doesn't get upset with us, but it was a Northside in Midtown. And yeah, after the alleged shooting, he was able to leave the Midtown area in a vehicle. They were able to track him down in Cobb County. And actually, speaking of Cobb County, they're actually trying to still trying to get information and different court records from Cobb County officials that are related to this case, which is partially why there's some questions whether this case will be able to go to trial in June or if they're going to actually have to push it back further.
All right, Tyler Fingert on the case for us. We'll see how that trial unfolds, Tyler. Thanks so much. Now to a bizarre and tragic story out of Virginia, where the former lieutenant governor of Virginia is dead after police say that he shot and killed his wife in a murder-suicide before killing himself. Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis says that Justin Fairfax shot his wife multiple times inside their home in Annandale, Virginia. The Fairfax County Police say that he then went to another part of the house where he shot and killed himself. When officers arrived just after midnight, they found both adults dead inside. Details on what led up to the shooting are still being investigated, but the chief says the couple were involved in the process of getting a divorce. Chief Davis says the couple's children were in the home at the time of the shooting, but were not injured.
So far, what we know is probably what you all know, and I don't think it's a secret that there's been divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. From what I understand in this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding. That apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through. But we know that it all kind of culminated last night when Justin Fairfax shot several times and killed his wife, ran to a different part of the home, and then killed himself with the same firearm. The question is, have we had any previous domestic or calls for service to this location? In January of this year, Mr. Fairfax calls the police and alleges that his wife assaulted him. We responded to that scene. There are several cameras set up inside the house. Apparently, Mrs. Fairfax, at some point during these divorce proceedings, set up a lot of cameras inside the home. We reviewed those cameras, and we corroborated that the alleged assault never occurred. So there was no arrest made. There was a report written, but the allegation that Mr. Fairfax made in January that Mrs. Fairfax assaulted him was proven to be untrue.
Again, just a devastating set of circumstances, but the bottom line is this former lieutenant governor of Virginia dead, in addition to his wife, after what police are calling a murder-suicide. The children inside the home when that happened, but they were not injured. Good news could be on the horizon for music fans. Fed up with high ticket prices, a New York jury has ruled that Live Nation and Ticketmaster acted as an illegal monopoly to control concert venues. The lawsuit, backed by dozens of states, accused the giant of wiping out competition and forcing fans to pay outrageous fees. Experts say the company used its power to extract more money from every single ticket sale. While the verdict's a major blow, a judge must still decide what happens next here. Live Nation denies the allegation, saying in a statement that this verdict is not the last word on the matter. However, concert goers and enthusiasts could see ticket prices come down in the near future. President Trump says that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire starting at 5 this evening. And the president has invited the leaders of Israel and Lebanon to the White House for the country's first high-level talks since 1983. This comes after the Pentagon, you just saw the Secretary of War Pete Hegseth there, in its first briefing this morning since launching a military blockade of Iranian ports, which no ships have broken through, says that 14 ships have been turned around. This is increasing the economic pressure on Iran, and the U.S. hopes that forces the regime back to the negotiating table. Only those ships carrying essential items like food and medical supplies can enter. The Pentagon is sending a strong message to the Iranian regime with time running out for them to make a deal before a ceasefire expires next week.
We're watching you. Our capabilities are not the same, our military and yours. Remember, we're watching you. Our capabilities are not the same, our military and yours. Remember, this is not a fair fight. And we know what military assets you are moving and where you are moving them to. While you are digging out, which is exactly what you're doing, digging out of bombed out and devastated facilities, we are only getting stronger. You are digging out your remaining launchers and missiles with no ability to replace them. You have no defense industry, no ability to replenish your offensive or defensive capabilities.
Let me be clear, this blockade applies to all ships, regardless of nationality, heading into or from Iranian ports. The U.S. action is a blockade of Iran's ports and coastline, not a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Enforcement will occur inside Iran's territorial seas and in international waters. These ships are armed to the teeth with surface-to-air missiles, land attack cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles, anti-submarine rockets, torpedoes, 5-inch naval guns, multiple electronic warfare systems, embarked helicopters, extending the reach and capability of each and every one of these destroyers. But far and away, the most important weapon on board these ships is the American sailor.
Again, some tough words coming from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff there, urging Iran to come back to the negotiating table with time running out for them to make a deal before a ceasefire expires next week. A stark warning from the International Energy Agency tonight as Europe rapidly runs out of fuel. The IEA says that the ongoing war in Iran has choked off global supplies, leaving Europe with only about 6 weeks of jet fuel left. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz is driving the crisis, a vital waterway that once handled 25% of the world's oil. Americans will likely feel the sting soon as well, with experts warning of canceled flights and gas prices climbing to $5 a gallon by summer. The president says that he plans to make a deal to get oil flowing once again, but for now, the strait remains under a U.S. naval blockade. The White House is pushing back on the alarm, predicting prices will return to normal by early fall. Coming up here, we're going to shift gears a little bit, talk about our weather on this Thursday afternoon. Probably, if not certainly, the hottest day of the week so far. So is this hot weather going to stretch into our weekend, and is there any relief on site? Meteorologist Lauren Robinson here with the weather when we come back. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, walking you through all the day's big stories, many of them happening live right here during the stream. Want to talk about our weather outside. Probably the hottest day of our work week thus far, really feeling more like early summer or kind of even midsummer if you add a little more humidity out there than it is late spring. But is this hot weather going to stick around for very long? Here's meteorologist Lauren Robinson.
Well, as we continue through the rest of our day, it's going to be hot and dry. Here's a look at our latest drought monitor that was released today. It's released every Thursday, and as expected, it's worse and worse and worse. So as we take a look to the south here, we have a growing area of exceptional drought, which is the deepest level of drought you can be in. We're seeing that across southern portions of the state, but even as we zoom in north here to our viewing area, this level 4 here, this extreme drought is continuing to grow as well, already encompassing most of metro Atlanta. And the bad part about it is in the next 7 days, we're not really expecting much more rain. So this red part is likely going to continue to expand westward and southward, continuing to fill in all across North Georgia. So while the weather's been nice for those outdoor activities, we could desperately use some rain all across the southeast. Now, since we're not getting the rain, what are we getting? Well, that's going to be dry, warm conditions. We're looking for those temperatures in the upper 80s. Some areas could even see 90 degrees today. We're going to get a lot of sunshine, and it's going to be breezy out there. So something to keep in mind: when it's breezy and when it's dry, that increases our fire risk. So you really want to watch for those outdoor burns, especially with as dry as our soil is. Now, outside of that, as we go through the rest of the evening, some lucky areas to the north could be getting some overnight showers and storms. Most of this activity is going to fall in Tennessee and into North Carolina. The far northern counties of Georgia could be lucky enough to get some stray raindrops overnight by early tomorrow morning, but certainly not enough to get us out of the drought, and the vast majority of us stay dry as we move through the next several days. So by the time we're waking up tomorrow, more sunshine. Now, as we take a look at those temperatures, we're going to be well above average today. We're looking at those highs in the upper 80s. Some areas could even see 90 degrees. Of course, this is above average, but we could even be record-breaking, going down in the history books not only today, but tomorrow and Saturday as well. That's how long this hot weather is going to stick around. Now, with as dry as our air is, that's where we see a big difference between afternoon highs and overnight lows. So we will be falling back into the upper 50s, lower 60s by early tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at the 7-day forecast here, because we do have some changes that'll happen midway through our weekend. We go through our Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Each of these days, we're looking like we're going to break existing records, and some of these records are very long standing. So it looks like the next few days will likely go down in the history books for just how hot we're going to be. But then Saturday evening into Sunday morning, we're going to get a cold front that pushes through. It'll be a weak cold front. Really, all we're going to get from it will be maybe some light morning showers Saturday or Sunday, very slight chances there. But once that front settles in, we're going to see cooler temperatures behind it. So there'll be a big difference in temperatures between Saturday to Sunday. And then once we drop into the lower 70s Sunday afternoon, those temperatures rebound quickly, and then we're looking at those highs back in the low 80s by the middle of next week.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much. You know, President Trump is looking to change the skyline in Washington, D.C., unveiling plans for a United States triumphal arch to be erected to mark the nation's 250th birthday. The 250-foot design was presented to federal reviewers today, featuring a winged Liberty figure, soaring eagles, and 4 gold lions guarding the base. Supporters say the arch embodies American strength, but critics are already calling it a monstrous vanity project. A group of veterans and historians has filed a lawsuit to block the building, arguing the structure will ruin historic sightings. The proposal comes as the president also looks to paint the Eisenhower Executive Office building and add a new underground visitors center to the White House grounds. President Trump is issuing a stark ultimatum to the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, threatening to fire him if he does not leave the board next month. While Powell's term as chairman ends in May, he still has 2 years left as a board governor, a tenure the president says he will not tolerate. The tension stems from long-standing disputes over interest rates and a DOJ investigation into a $4 billion renovation at the Federal Reserve. But the move to replace Powell with Kevin Warsh is hitting a major roadblock in the Senate, North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis is vowing to block the nomination, calling the probe into Powell bogus and demanding it be dropped before any vote takes place. Democrats are also weighing in on this, saying that the president is trying to strip the Fed of its independence to so-called juice the economy. When we come back here, we're going to check in with our Doug Evans live on a story about a massive drug bust out in Spalding County. Doug joins us now on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haynes with you live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Appreciate you streaming on our mobile app, Fox Local, on your mobile device. Or if you're watching on one of your live channels at home, we welcome you as well on one of our social media platforms at Fox 5 Atlanta. Or on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM. We certainly welcome you as well as we get you caught up on the day's big stories. One of them is a massive drug bust in Spalding County, taking 20 people off the streets. Investigators say the group is responsible for flooding Middle Georgia with meth and fentanyl. Doug Evans on top of this story for us this afternoon. Doug?
Tom, Sheriff Daryl Dix here in Spalding County says these two men known as Twin and Chuck on the streets. They operated out of Clayton County, but they say their drug ring had tentacles that spread throughout South Metro Atlanta and, as you said, all the way down to Middle Georgia. Number of police agencies involved with this, including the Spalding County Sheriff's Office, Butts County Sheriff's Office, Fayette County Sheriff's Office, the GBI, the State Patrol, Henry County Police. In all, they arrested 20 people, charged, among other things, with possession of meth and also trafficking in meth. And the two guys that they focused on the most here were two guys. And their name is Brandon Twin Williams, that was the street name, Twin, and Gregory Chuck Dodson. They're both 35 years old, both from Clayton County, and Sheriff Daryl Dix says that's where they operated from several drug houses in Clayton County, and then they sold to other dealers who then took those drugs to other South Metro Atlanta counties. And they say they have linked those drugs to numerous overdose deaths. So they say this has been an important bust, not just in, you know, getting these drugs off the streets and people who are allegedly drug dealing, but also in limiting the damage that these drugs are doing and perhaps even getting some justice for these poor families who have lost loved ones to this as well. So that's the very latest in Spalding County, Tom.
You know, Doug, they say when you want to get to the tick off of the body, you got to make sure the head is out of the skin, right? Or else you'll get Lyme disease. So this is sort of like removing that, when it's talking about the drug trade, out, and the trickle-down effect to so many of these other people and dealers, and, as you said, the horrible consequences of these two alleged drug leaders, if you will, in that area.
Yeah, and this affects so many communities, Tom, not just Spalding County, but the other counties surrounding Spalding County. We're talking about Henry County to the north. Over here to the east is Fayette County. Over to the west is Fayette County. Over to the east is Butts County. And so a number of these counties affected by this particular drug ring. In all, 20 people arrested on this, from the high end, they say, of this operation to the lower end of the operation as well. And as you said, it's not just, it doesn't have much consequence to get the lower level street dealer if you're not going to get the guys who are heading up the operation like they say they have done in this.
Well, this is a huge get, and I'm sure a lot of high fives throughout the police departments there. Doug Evans with the big bust. Doug, thanks. The Painted Tree closing all of its locations nationwide. The business unexpectedly closed just 2 days ago. Fox 5's Tara Jabor joins us now live from the Painted Tree Boutique in Roswell. What does this mean for folks that love that business, Tara? It doesn't sound like it's going to be around much longer.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. This Painted Tree behind me, I'm here in Roswell. It's already closed. And what people are doing right now is all the vendors are moving their things out. So basically, the company announced this 2 days ago. A vendor told me that they received an email saying that they were closing because of rising costs and this changing landscape with the retail industry. And then they were told that they need to have all of their things out of the store by the 24th. Now, I spoke to one woman. She's been selling her items here for the last 4 years, and she told me that it's really been a great place to sell her homemade dips. She also sells different seasonings and honey from other small local business owners, and this really is a place where all of those small business owners can sell their things all together. She told me it has created a great community between the small business owners here in this area, and that she's devastated to see it close. It's also obviously brought a lot of business and attention to her business and several others. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
And I loved it. It was so much fun. You know, you get to know a lot of the other vendors, and we're all kind of a big support for one another. And just, it's really nice to come in here. There's so many wonderful, unique items for gifts or for your home, or like special food items that you can't find other places. And it just allowed vendors to be creative, and, you know, and for the community to support small business and get to know vendors as well. So I think they made you feel a part of the community, and the community could come here also.
Now, they have 3 locations here in Georgia. Of course, all of those locations are now closing, since they are closing all their locations nationwide. I've been here basically all day. I've seen all kinds of vendors come in. Obviously, a lot of people are upset because this is how they make money. The woman I spoke to, she also does a few farmers markets in the area, and she told me that that's great. It's a great place to sell her things, but this is more of a consistent place that she's been able to sell. So I think a lot of people are just thinking about other places that they're going to sell at moving forward. Of course, everyone will have to adjust. Tom?
Yeah, Tara, these are vendors who it's a collective of sorts, right, where they can kind of rent little stalls or spaces, display their goods, and people come in and buy them from that area. We have them in town. It's called West Side Market, where, you know, vendors do the same thing. Every time I'm in West Side Market, it's packed. So Obviously, these folks, do they say that they're going to look for sort of other venues to try to sell their goods?
Yeah, that's exactly what that woman told me. She's told me she's going to try to go to more farmers markets now, like other ones either in Atlanta or in surrounding areas, and that she's going to look at other small areas where she can sell her things. She did say that this place felt the most like a close-knit community, and that's what she loved about it compared to others. So I'm sure she'll be able to find another one that she likes, but, you know, there was almost 200 vendors inside of this one, and she's been coming here for 4 years, so it will be a big change. Absolutely.
All right, Tara Jabor covering that one for us today. Tara, thanks. Coming up here, have you ever wanted to get into the cockpit of a commercial airliner and actually try to fly it? Well, you may be able to do that, kind of. I'll show you how when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. You ever wanted to fly like an A320 from the cockpit? Well, our Eli Jordan is at the Delta Flight Museum now with this VR experience that kind of lets you do that.
Hey, that's right. I'm at the Delta Flight Museum, and they upgraded it about a year ago, and it looks beautiful here, and I suggest coming on out, not only for the new upgrades, but they also have a new VR experience. Check this out. You can land an Airbus 320 in Las Vegas, and I'm joined here with Kate Phillip. Hey, Kate, you seem to be running things around here, and just tell me, what do you know about the VR stuff, and you know, what do you hope people will come away with?
Yes, so we're excited to implement this new piece of technology, sort of what I'm calling the pre-sim, when I tell guests who visit what they'll experience, and we're hoping that they get a little bit of a taste for what it's like to potentially graduate to the big sim and do the full hour-long experience in there. So
how long is this experience?
This is about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, and then what are they experiencing exactly?
You're seated inside the flight deck of an A320 aircraft, and you get to prepare the aircraft to land.
Let's see some of the video on the iPod there. Yeah, then maybe we can show
so you get
our audience.
Seated inside. super
cool. So what she's seeing,
detailed,
this
super
is
realistic.
what she's seeing. Yeah, this is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how long is this going to be available, and who all can participate with this? Like, who would be your ideal customer, I guess?
Yeah, anybody who's ever, dreamt of being a pilot, wanted to see what goes on behind the scenes and land a plane themselves, and you have to be 13 or older to participate.
13, and this is an extra little bit of charge to get in, right?
Yes, just a $5 add-on to your admissions when you come to the museum.
And you guys have the renovations here and all that, and then this is Delta Innovations that did this. So tell me what all else does the museum, just briefly, real quick. What all else can people expect when they come to the museum?
Yeah, we have
because it looks good here, by the way.
It looks great. We have 2 full hangars with 9 aircraft available to look at between the hangars and outside. You're actually able to go into a 767 aircraft and a 747, as well as see countless archival items, from flight attendant uniforms to luggage to all the special wings and things that have been a part of the airline.
So it looks like Erin is getting some of her, maybe adjusting some flaps here or something. I'm not sure. Let's see.
She is performing the landing checklist. There we go. Got that gear down.
Oh, cool. She's been doing this for a little while. She was doing this during our last shot. I think she's starting to get the hang of it. So what do you hope, as someone who deals with the visitors that come here to the museum, what do you hope visitors will take away from this experience?
Yeah, I hope that they first and foremost enjoy themselves and have a good time, and also maybe have learned something that they didn't know before, whether that's about aviation or Delta Airlines specifically, especially on my tours and through any of the experiences in the museum. That's my #1 hope.
Cool. Well, Kate Phillip, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The VR experience here at the Delta Flight Museum. Come in here, it's a little extra charge, $5 extra on top of your admission, but it's going to be worth it. And then you can graduate and go to the simulation if you want to, or you can skip everything and just walk around and check it all out. But this museum, after their recent renovations about a year ago, it looks beautiful. I suggest come on out here, go to deltamuseum.org if you need more information. Back to you guys.
Wow. So cool. Eli, thanks. Well, a unique 23-acre farm in Rockdale County helping local growers root themselves into the community. Our Chris Rosenthal is there.
Yeah, a couple dozen growers came out here today for a bit of a field day here at the Global Growers Network Farms. A chance for them to learn about growing, about organic growing, about farming and local farming, and talk to some of the farmers here at this property. It's really pretty cool. It's about a 23 acre property here in Rockdale County. It's a co-farm. If you think of sort of like a co-working office, this is a property where multiple farmers, about 11 farmers, get to work about 9 different plots of land here, growing a variety of different crops and crops that they can sell at local farmers markets. And I talked with Kate Weschler, she's with Global Growers Networks, just about what they provide for these farmers and how important that land access is for them.
Land access is one of the biggest, dare I say, largest barriers for farmers. And so this is a 22-23 tract of farmland that we have in organic. Most of it is under organic certification, and all of it falls under what we call the conservation easement, which we've navigated with the Conservation Fund and Athens Land Trust. And so we're really proud to say that this is the first site that Global Growers has actually ever owned. All of our other community garden sites we do in great partnerships with churches, with MARTA, with different cities, City of Decatur, City of Clarkston. But this, is a piece of land that is Global Growers and will be protected into perpetuity through the conservation easement that we have on it. And so right now there's 11 farmers who are leasing land from Global Growers so that they can launch their businesses here. It's like basically a co-working space for farmers. That's
a good way to put it. a lot of these growers here got the opportunity to meet with some of the farmers that work here on this farm that have some land that they are responsible for. One of them is Jasmine Lee, and I talked with her. You know, farming sort of runs in her family, and she showed me her plot and talked to me a little bit about how Global Growers Network has really helped her out.
So I'm growing a variety of vegetables, fruit, and culinary herbs. So things like tomatoes, different types of peppers, potatoes, sweet potatoes, basil, kale, collards, watermelon, things like that.
And you know, when these crops come up and they're ready to go, what will you do with them?
So I'll be selling them. Rockdale County is starting a new farmers market, the Rockdale Farmers Market. I'll also be doing local deliveries and on-farm pickup if people want to actually come see where it's grown.
You know, and a lot of the farmers here, you know, sell their what they grow at local farmers markets. It's kind of a nice full circle thing. I mean, what does it mean to you to have the opportunity to use this plot of land? I mean, you've been here since 2024. What does that mean to you?
It means a whole lot. Finding Global Growers Network provided an opportunity that I didn't think I would have so early on in my farming career. I got started with Georgia Organics with their farmer apprenticeship in 2023. Found out about this place at the end of that year and got started in 2024. I thought I'd have to wait 5+ years to be able to find and afford a property, and the model that they have here with the co-farm, it's a lot more affordable and increases land access for farmers in general, but especially young farmers.
Yeah, I mean, is farming something that's sort of coming back? Is it sort of a new attractive field to be in? I feel like it is. Agriculture in general, I feel maybe there is a bit of a shift in people and families wanting to connect more with where food comes from and see the whole process. So I do feel like maybe it's coming back into fashion in a way. The Global Growers Network has worked with over 200 farmers across Georgia, across their 8 farm and garden sites in the metro Atlanta area. If you want to help them out, they're actually having a gala on April 25th. You can go to their website, globalgrowers.org, to find out more information. Back to you.
All right, Chris Rosenthal for us this afternoon. Chris, thanks. Want to check the markets as we get ready to say goodbye this afternoon. The Dow Jones Industrials on a streak this week, up 116 points today, almost back at its record high of 50,000, inching closer and closer. The market's higher after the president today said that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a temporary ceasefire, which has really been a key sticking point in the U.S.-Iran negotiations. So the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, all the indexes inching up on that news as we seem to be making at least some headway when it comes to the situation in the Middle East. Markets closing here in the next 3.5 minutes. That is going to do it for us today here on the 3 p.m. streaming hour of Fox Local. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Haynes. Don't go anywhere because the news continues right here, right now.